Sunny day here in Waco, Texas, not a cloud in sight, and the Brazos River is glistening as we're overlooking it here at McLean Stadium as we're gearing up for this Week 6 matchup between the Baylor Bears and the Kansas State Wildcats. Make sure to stay tuned and catch all that action right here on the Baylor Lariat Radio. Hi, everyone, and I hope y'all are doing well. I'm Jeffrey Cohen here alongside me, Aidan O'Connor. And Aidan, getting towards the halfway point in the season, but in this game, what's really describing this matchup is these two teams are going to be strength against strength today.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you have Baylor's offense, specifically passing, that has been exceptional this season. Sawyer Robertson leading the nation in passing yards and passing touchdowns, going against a Kansas State defense that is one of the best pass defenses in the country, having 18 pass deflections already on the season, only allowing 181 pass yards per game. And that will be the matchup really today to see who's going to break. Is Sawyer going to be able to come through and have the performances he's had this year, or is there going to be a couple lulls like there were against Arizona State, against Samford, or is Kansas State, is Sawyer just too good of a QB for them that they have not faced yet? And that will be a key point for them, and specifically in that passing game, as we were talking about, the wide receivers as well with Josh Cameron and Ashton Hawkins, having those wide receivers show up. Ashton Hawkins been pretty absent since that SMU game, and then Josh Cameron had a hard time versus Arizona State, having a couple turnovers, but then last week got back under his feet. And so that will be a big story. But also, another story to talk about is weakness versus weakness for these two teams. You have a Kansas State offense that has really not been all that productive until last week with Dylan Edwards' return. And then a Baylor defense that has struggled mightily this season, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And that's what this game is going to be. It's going to be matchups against matchups for that Baylor defense. On the rushing end, they're 105th in the nation, giving up 180 rushing yards per game. But that offense, without Dylan Edwards for a good chunk of this first half of the season, they're averaging just under 140 rushing yards a game. That's good for 90 seconds. So again, two teams trying to find some edge, trying to get to that rhythm. And I think this is the time to do it. Especially if Baylor wants to make a run for that Big 12 championship. Right now they're sitting at 3-2. If they can go to 4-2 into that bye week, this will be a big statement win for them today. If they can win against a Big 12 opponent at home and be able to basically flip their record from the first 6 games last season. They were 2-4 to start last year, went on that 6-game run to finish the regular season 8-4. Well, now, if a similar kind of adjustments happen in that bye week, well, now you're already at an advantage at 4-2. Maybe if you go and win out, well, that's a 10-2 season. That's a good chance that you're going to be going to Arlington to play in the Big 12 championship. But again, as I've mentioned for K-State, that running game hasn't quite been there, mainly because of the absence of Dylan Edwards.
And Dylan Edwards' return last week, having 166 yards, and a lot of people forget, last year he led the nation in average yards per carry, and this year he's continuing his run of dominance, having 7.5 yards a carry. And this Baylor defense, historically, under Dave Aranda, has been not the greatest against the rush, whether it be from the quarterback and the running back. And to bring that up, they don't only have to worry about Dylan Edwards, they have to worry about Avery Johnson as well. He is one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league, and you saw what Sam Leavitt and Jackson Arnold did as rushing quarterbacks versus this Baylor defense. And so that will be something for them to have to combat during this game.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards injured his ankle on his first touch of the season. That was in that Week 0 loss to Iowa State in Dublin. And he fumbled on that play as well. He came back 2 weeks ago against Arizona, but he got taken out after getting 14 carries and 13 yards. And then last week against UCF is when he really started to find that success he had last year. 20 rushes, 166 yards with a touchdown. Also a career-long 75-yard run. And then you look at Avery Johnson again, as you said, another running quarterback that Baylor's defense is really going to have to watch out for and deal with. Avery Johnson, 137 yards on 37 runs this season, 2 rushing touchdowns as well, and that leads the team. But I think for that Baylor defense, if they can really understand and learn from almost every game that they've played this season, they've been going up against mobile quarterbacks, it feels like almost every game. So I think if they can really take away what they need to work on and what they did well against those quarterbacks and they put it into this game, I think this could really be a turning point for that defense. But again, you just never know. We've talked about that in the last couple weeks, they've been, against ASU, for example, right? They're going up against another mobile quarterback in Stan Levitt. Well, they already went up against Jackson Arnold, and it took them a while to make those adjustments. So I guess we'll see, when does that defense make the necessary adjustments? Can they do that in the first half and right as the game starts, or will it take towards the end of that game or at halftime to finally make those adjustments? And I think that's one thing that could really determine this game. But the pregame show will roll on. We're just about 15 minutes away from kickoff. Make sure to stay tuned. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
You are listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio as we get ready just a couple minutes away from this Week 6 matchup, 11:02 kickoff between the Baylor Bears and the K-State Wildcats. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Jeffrey Cohen here alongside me, Aidan O'Connor. And Aidan, for K-State coming into this game, underwhelming season. Started number 17 in the nation in the preseason. But result-wise, they've been 2-3 overall, 1-1 in conference play. But looking deeper into this team, that record doesn't quite define who this team is.
No, it does not. This is a team that has been they've executed very well this year. They've had the fourth fewest penalties out of any school in the nation. And when you look at those games they lost, it wasn't like they got blown out. It wasn't like they had a ton of mistakes. It just came down to the wire. All those games came down to one possession. And this Baylor team is very much used to a game like that, having Arizona State, SMU, and then Auburn, still 2 or more scores, but was really close up until that fourth quarter. And so this Kansas State team, they've been so close all season. That 2-3 record is not indicative of how good this team is, and especially last week, once they got Dylan Edwards back, they really showed what they're capable of. And the O-line doing an excellent job in creating so much offense for them last week, as we talked about. Dylan Edwards, 166 yards rushing. Avery Johnson, 75 yards rushing. And then giving Avery Johnson time to go through his progressions, and that's something he's been criticized for, giving him time to get settled into the game and not make mistakes, only taking a sack once, having 2 touchdowns to 0 interceptions.
Yeah, and you look at that O-line, 4 of their 5 starters, returners from last year. The O-line just a season ago set a school record with 6.08 yards per carry, plus offensive yards per play at 6.57. Both those ranking 2nd and 13th in the nation. as well as allowing only 13 sacks. That was their fewest since 2000, and they only allowed 1 sack per game, which was good for 10th in the country. So again, coming off a great season, now it's time. You got Dylan Edwards back in the backfield to pair with Avery Johnson in that running game. And I think that kind of gives them a morale boost just to start. But now, as we're just a couple minutes away from the kickoff, we had talked about it earlier, just how important this game is for both teams and how this game could really be a turning point.
I mean, this game is a swing game for both teams for how their season is going to go. If you're Baylor, you go to 4-2, 2 games above 500, going into a bye week, like you said, and there's a chance still that you could make the Big 12 if you're Baylor, make the Big 12 championship, make the CFP playoff, maybe. If you're Kansas State, you go to 2-4 if you lose. But if you win, you go to 3-3, and then the season is somewhat salvaged there. And so for both of these teams, there's so much relying on this game. And as we talked about the one-score games they've had, this is going to come down to the wire. Both these teams are going to be fighting tooth and nail for their season to stay alive and for their Big 12 championship hopes to stay alive.
Now as the Baylor Bears come out of the tunnel, guided by the Baylor line, here are your lineups for today's matchup, starting with the Baylor offense. Under center, leading the nation in passing yards and touchdowns, Sawyer Robertson. Right behind him, Bryson Washington, the running back. Michael Trigg at tight end. And your wide receivers on the inside, Ashton Hawkins. You also have Cole Wilson and Kobe Prentice, as well as Blitnikoff watchlist wide receiver Josh Cameron. On the O-line, going from left to right, Sidney Fugar, Ryan Lengel, Colton Price, Omar Ibedion, and Caden Saraki. And then on that defensive end, on that front, you got Matthew Fobbs-White on the weak side, Jackie Marshall as the defensive tackle, DK Kalu as well. He came into this game questionable. Cooper Lands, the starting edge rusher. And at linebacker, nickelback, DJ Coleman, Rover Kylan Reeves. And then in the middle of that defense, commanding it, Keaton Thomas. And then on the back end, Tevin Williams and LeVar Thornton, your starting cornerbacks. And then starting free safety, Jacob Redding. And at strong safety, Devin Bobby. And then for the visiting Kansas State Wildcats, at quarterback, Avery Johnson, Maxwell and Davey O'Brien, watchlist quarterbacks. Coming back in his second full game of the season, Dylan Edwards, the running back. Garrett Oakley, the starting tight end. At wide receiver, Jace Brown, Jerron Tibbs, Sterling Lockett, Jerron Brandley, and Adonis Moise. And then that O-line, again going from left to right, John Pastore, Taylor Portier, Sam Hecht, Andrew Leengang, and Terrence Enos. On the defensive side in that front, Desmond Purnell, outside linebacker, going off that edge. Cody Stufflebean, edge rusher. Damian Ilalio at the nose tackle, and then Chidi Obiizor, another edge rusher. And then in the middle of the field, Austin Romaine, at middle linebacker. Gabe Powers, another outside linebacker. And Quay Moss, the star of that defense. In the secondary, Justice Clemens and Zayshawn Rich are your two starting cornerbacks. And then in the back of that defense, eyeing the field, you got free safety Wesley Fair and strong safety BJ Payne. Has 29 tackles on the season, 2.5 of those being for loss and a forced fumble. And again, Aidan, a lot of expectations for both these teams coming into this season. Baylor coming off of a 6-game win streak to end last year. And then you got K-State coming into this season, number 17 overall. And I think both teams, again, as you said, fighting for their season, right? Neither seasons have gone quite according to plan for both sides. And now it's time to really push the narrative and make that final push for the Big 12 championship game.
I totally agree with you. This is a game about proving that each team has underperformed at the beginning of this year, but it's proving to their fans, hey, we're still in it. We're climbing back. This season is going to get back on track.
So Baylor will kick off to start this game, give the ball to K-State in the end zone to return. Number 31, Dominic Mitchell. And Rhett Armstrong sends the ball down, and a roll out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And here comes the K-State offense going up against that Baylor defense. Leading the charge for the Wildcats, Avery Johnson. So far this season, 65% completion percentage, 763 yards in non-conference schedule, 6 touchdowns and an interception. Coming off a UCF game where he went 18 for 25, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. And back again with his running back, Dylan Edwards, standing at 5'9", weighing 175 pounds. Gets a snap, hands it off to Edwards up the middle, and he's tripped up after a gain of only 1.
Baylor defense lucky there he tripped up because it was looking like Dylan Edwards was going to have a lot of room on that play.
It was a good job by that O-line, just being able to shift to the left, kind of set that edge on the right side, give Edwards some room to bounce. 2 receivers both ways. Johnson the shotgun. Motions Will Ancio, his tight end. Gets the snap. Throwing up the middle, has a man open, it's Ancio. He'll be taken down just a yard short of the line to gain, so a 3rd down to start this Week 6 matchup. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
And as we were talking about the offensive line being so great for Kansas State on that play, giving multiple seconds for him to go through all of his progressions.
K-State 34% on 3rd downs. That's 109th in the nation. Gets a snap, hands off to Edwards up the middle. Has a little bit of room. He'll be stuffed, but gets just enough for the 1st down, and that'll move the chains. Atwell's calling the plays for that K-State offense. 52% pass against 48% run so far this season. And he gets the snap, rolls to his right immediately, but he's met behind the line of scrimmage.
And a lot of plays like that, those QB draws where the QB's trying to rush the ball. Baylor has struggled against those this year, with Jackson Arnold specifically in that Auburn game, really gashing the defense. Good job by them on this play, containing Avery Johnson.
Matthew Fobbs-White and LeVar Thornton combining for that tackle. So now 2nd and 12. Motions Joe Jackson out of the backfield. 5-man rush for Baylor. Finds a man over the middle. It's Joe Jackson moving his way to the left, and he's taken down past the 45-yard line. Again, that's good for a 1st down. Just gets to that 1st down marker. Both of Avery Johnson's completions to start this game inside the hash marks. Found Will Ancio on the 1st set of downs, and now running back Joe Jackson. Handing it off to Jackson up the middle. He has some room. And he's taken down by a couple Baylor defenders, including Jacob Redding. Combines with DJ Coleman for that tackle. Joe Jackson getting quite a bit of action with Dylan Edwards being out for most of the 1st half of the season. 142 yards on 35 rushes. Only had 5 attempts for 6 yards. Did get a touchdown last week against UCF. Empty backfield for Avery Johnson. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Throwing on a screen, that's to Joe Jackson. He'll be taken out of bounds after a short gain.
As you're talking about Joe Jackson being a big part of this offense while Dylan Edwards was out, having a game-winning touchdown catch versus North Dakota, being such a pivotal part of this offense so far, and looks like he's being used more than Dylan Edwards today.
A trio of receivers to the right. Hands it off to Joe Jackson on the left side. He won't get too much room to run as he's taken down at the Baylor 38-yard line. So it'll be another third down for the Wildcats.
And this has been the struggle for the Baylor defense, getting stops on third down and pivotal moments like this. We'll see what they can do here.
Third down and 5 to go on the Baylor 37-yard line. They motion all the receivers in. Empty backfield for Johnson. Gets the snap. Throws it, finds a man open. That's the tight end, Garrett Oakley. And that'll move the chain. So far, plenty of success on third down for K-State. Now 2 for 2. Slowly but surely moving the ball up the field. Now at the Baylor 31. Gets a snap. He's going to run for it, and he has all the room in the world. Nothing but green grass ahead. Touchdown. Avery Johnson, a 31-yard touchdown run. And the Baylor defense once again getting torched by the QB draw.
And like we talked about in that Auburn game, in that Arizona State game, one of the biggest weaknesses they had, and what we talked about in the pregame, maybe they could take some lessons from that, it looks like today. Still having those issues with a person like Johnson's speed, you have to have a QB spy on him at all times, and that play just didn't have one.
Yeah, pre-play, have all their receivers move in right next to that line of scrimmage, and then on those routes have them all move out as the PAT is up, and it is good for K-State to take a 7-0 lead, and that just cleared the middle of the field for Avery Johnson. It was just a dead sprint to the end zone. That'll give K-State the first score of this ball game. They lead 7-0 with just a little over 9.5 minutes left in this first quarter. And we'll see the Baylor's offense get their first look at the K-State defense when we come back. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
7-0 lead for the K-State Wildcats. 9:33 remaining in the first quarter. Simon McClannon on to kick this ball off, and then looking to return will be number 2 Cole Wilson, the K-State transfer.
Simon McClannon taking off for Kansas State. Cole Wilson needs to return for your Bears.
And it's a really low and short kick, rolls all the way to Cole Wilson. Has some trouble with gaining his footing, but he'll be taken down at about the 20-yard line. There's a flag thrown right by the end of that play. We'll see what it is. While we're waiting for this call, Aiden, now we're getting to that part. We saw, issues versus issues, right? And now we're getting to that part of the matchup where we're seeing Baylor strength against K-State strength.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson, one of, if not the best quarterback in the country right now. And with a personal foul for a face mask on Baylor. And as I was saying, Sawyer Robertson been one of the best quarterbacks in the country, now going against one of the best pass defenses in the country, and probably one of, if not the best that he's seen this season. And so down so early right now, Baylor and Jake Stout will have to be careful to not get Sawyer to play hero ball, to try to get them back into the game quickly. They have to take time, take their progressions, and get the plays they want to get, and not rush the game plan.
With the face mask penalty, Baylor back on their own 11-yard line. We'll get our first look of Sawyer Robertson today. Leads the nation in passing yards and passing touchdowns with 1,713 yards, 17 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, averaging 343 passing yards a game.
First down.
Bryson Washington right next to him in the backfield. Hand off to Washington up the middle. Pushing his way through the pile, and he'll be taken down at the 16-yard line for a gain of 5.
Another big thing for this offense today will be, can they get Caden Knighton and Michael Turner going and have them be a productive part of this rushing game?
Takes the handoff. Finds a man on a quick hook route. That's to Josh Cameron. That's good enough for a first down. Josh Cameron getting a good chunk of yardage after the catch. Taken down at the 30-yard line. Quick snap, so Robertson looking to his right. Josh Cameron on the comeback route once again, pushed out of bounds, and it's another really good gain for 9 this time.
And that's good, getting Josh Cameron involved early. Had a couple games where he hasn't been himself, but this game will be big to get him involved.
Quick handoff this time to Bryson Washington up the middle. Trying to move the pile, and he gets the yard necessary for the first down. Yeah, I'm talking about Josh Cameron not being himself. Had a rough game against Arizona State just 2 weeks ago. First touch, had a really good reception, but at the end of that had the ball punched out, and the ball went to Arizona State. Ended the game with 2 fumbles. There's another handoff. Bryson Washington bouncing his way. There he goes. He's got some room. And he's wrapped up by V.J. Payne at the K-State 40-yard line. And this is kind of the run game that we saw a lot last year. Let Bryson Washington find some room up the middle. Now 3 runs for 26 yards. Last week only had 77 yards. Under pressure, throwing a back shoulder ball out of bounds. Just over the head of Michael Trigg.
And like you were talking about, Bryson Washington, kind of the runs that we've seen from him. And earlier in the year, had 3 straight 100-yard games and not been quiet, but hasn't had that same production in the past 2 games. And so trying to get him going like this is very key for this team. And right up the middle there, you saw just that.
Bryson Washington, 300-plus yard games this season. That's now 9 in the last 2 seasons. Steps up in the pocket, finds a man down the middle. That's Michael Trigg. He'll be taken down at the 30-yard line.
Robertson's pass is complete to Michael Trigg. And that's another Baylor.
And that'll move the stick. So Baylor, they're driving a lot quicker. Sawyer Robertson being able to find some of these short passes, but unlike against Arizona State, being able to complete them, just keeping that K-State secondary on their toes. Caden Knighton now in the backfield for the Bears, giving Bryson Washington a breather. And off to Knighton, trying to bounce his way to the left, but he will be met after a gain of 2 yards.
And Knighton, you know, a guy that Baylor has been waiting all season to kind of break out, had that last week, having even more rushing yards than Bryson Washington.
Yeah, last week, 5 rushes for 81 yards. 49-yard run was his longest. Also had 1 reception for 39 yards. Robertson under pressure finds Ashton Hawkins up the middle. Makes 2 defenders miss. And he'll be taken down at the 16-yard line. Ashton Hawkins, we haven't seen too much of him since that SMU game. Now there's a K-State player down on the field with an injury.
Yeah, that juke by Ashton Hawkins made the 2 K-State defenders run straight into each other.
So we'll step aside just for a few moments with this injury timeout. And we'll come back with a continuation of this Baylor offensive drive. 6 minutes left in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Kansas State. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
Six minutes left in this first quarter. The guy that went down for K-State, Justice Clemens, one of their starting cornerbacks, has 6 tackles and a fumble recovery on the season. Fumble recovery game last week against UCF. Also had 2 solo tackles. So big loss. K-State secondary, but again, one of the best units that Baylor has seen this season, and definitely one of the top secondaries in the nation.
Oh, definitely, especially, you know, having a guy like Zayshawn Rich, who's leading the Big 12 and with 6 pass breakups, and this offense loves to go deep, loves to throw balls that are 20 yards down the field, and having such a great secondary as they do, that can limit the offense today. But this Baylor offense has done well this drive, getting down the field. Now, the struggle that they have faced all season as they get in the end zone, they get past the 20, and then something happens. They stall. They try to go for it on a 4th down, and they don't convert. And so that's something they'll have to fix during this drive. And a big thing on that play, even though the Kansas State player got injured, was the involvement of Ashton Hawkins, like you talked about, who has really not been seen at all in these games since SMU, where he had a monster 150-yard game. And last week, didn't even see any action in the first half.
Yeah, against Arizona State, had 1 reception for 1 yard lost. Didn't play in that first half. And then last week in Stillwater, 2 catches for 15 yards. He, as you mentioned, had 10 catches for 145 yards in that Week 2 double overtime win against then number 17 SMU. Now the Baylor offense back at it again. Josh Cameron, the motion to the right. And off to Bryson Washington, trying to bounce his way around the line of scrimmage. But he will be met by a swarm of Wildcat defenders. And will be taken down after a gain of 1.
So there's an injured player now for the Baylor. Oh, that's Bryson Washington.
Looks like he started to get up a little bit. Right now on his knees. Being looked at by Baylor trainers. Right now he's upright and now getting up. I have a feeling he probably just got the wind knocked out of him. Getting hit hard at that line of scrimmage. Swarmed by that K-State front. He's walking off under his own power. So that's a good sign for that Baylor offense.
Definitely being such a big part of their rushing attack, and you could say they're really only reliable producer in that rushing game.
Yeah, but good thing for Baylor utilizing multiple running backs last week, so now Caden Knighton after a career day last week. So Robertson surveying the field. Josh Cameron onto the dagger route, makes the catch, and will be taken down at the 10-yard line. And there goes Josh Cameron. Now he's on the ground. And he's in some pain.
Looks like he ended up a little bit weird on his arm. Kind of tending to that right now.
Looks like he gets up quickly. He looks like he's limping a little bit. He might have maybe twisted an ankle or done something, but again, 2 kind of rough plays in a row. You have Bryson Washington go down, able to come off walking on his own, and then now Josh Cameron limping a little bit, but again, able to walk off without assistance. So it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Baylor offense on the 10-yard line. Still trailing the Wildcats 7-0. 5 minutes, 9 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Ball on the left hash mark for that Baylor offense. And off to Knight, and he's met behind the line of scrimmage. That's number 44, Toby Osunsami, with the tackle for loss. Osunsami came into this game with 5 tackles for loss, 4 of those being sacks. Now adds 1 more, so that's 6 tackles for loss on the season. That leads K-State. And a field goal team will come out. Connor Hawkins on to kick the field goal, 5 for 6 this season. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is through. So Baylor gets on the board. They still trail 7-3. Connor Hawkins nails his 6th field goal of the season, capping off a 12-play, 76-yard drive for the Bears. But we'll be back. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
We gear up for kickoff. Baylor, after a 12-play, 76-yard drive, finished off with a Connor Hawkins 30-yard field goal. So they still trail 7-3. Red Armstrong back on for the kickoff. Dominic Mitchell in the end zone looking to return. And he sends it down the field. He'll be caught by Mitchell, and he'll return it out of the end zone. And he's got some room going down the sideline, taken out of bounds by Rhett Armstrong at the 30-yard line. A flag is thrown. We wait for the penalty call. Aidan, looking back on that first K-State offensive drive, you noticed just a lot of inconsistencies, trying to keep that Baylor defense off rhythm and on their toes.
Looks like it's going to be an illegal block on the back.
That's going against Jordan Allen. Illegal block in the back. So getting back to the inconsistencies.
With this offense, from what we saw from the first drive, a lot of motion, subbing players in and out, in and out, in and out, and an inconsistency in tempo. And they'll go really fast to the line of scrimmage one play and then go really slow, not giving the Baylor offense kind of an ease into this game with how they're going to roll.
So now it looks like a different quarterback is in. That's number 13, R.J. Collins. He fumbles the snap, gets it back, trying to find his way to the right side and taken out of bounds at about the 12-yard line.
Looks like they had Avery Johnson set up as a wide receiver there. Johnson's still set up as a wide receiver.
Gets the snap, handoff to Joe Jackson on the left side, met behind the line of scrimmage down to the 10-yard line. That's a loss of 3 yards. That's quarterback Blake Barnett. Redshirt freshman out of Erie, Colorado. It looks like he'll come off the field. Just kind of a interesting start to this drive. Now at 3rd and 15 on their own 10-yard line. Baylor spread out on that D-line. They rush 4. Throwing it down the field on the sideline, and it's batted away. LeVar Thornton. His second pass breakup of the season. And that'll force the Kansas State punt team to come on the field.
Very interesting offensive decision by the Kansas State offense. I think they were trying to include multiple rushers on the field to add pressure on the Baylor defense in terms of who to cover, but didn't work there.
McClendon on the punt, sends a high one to the sideline, and he shanks it. That'll go out of bounds at around the K-State 40. He took the snap in the middle of the end zone, so that's about 40 yards of airtime. Ball bounced back towards the K-State end and goes out of bounds. So, again, not what you want to see if you're Chris Kleeman from your special teams. And now this is the time for Baylor to really take notice. This is the time for them to take this lead. And we were talking about it during one of the breaks, how this kind of felt, the start of the game kind of felt like the Auburn game. The motions Cole Wilson to the left. Robertson looking to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Fans wanting a penalty, but no flag will be thrown. That's number 6, Quay Moss, defending that pass. There was a lot of physicality on that entire route. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line. And up the middle, spinning out of a tackle and going down is Michael Turner. Baylor not wasting much time. Michael Turner, 13 rushes for 47 yards last week in Stillwater. Maybe the 3rd running back used for Baylor today. 2 receivers both ways. Robertson gets the snap, looking downfield. Looking to the outside, and it's caught. Josh Cameron scooping up that low throw. That's good enough for another 1st down. So again, Josh Cameron creating some room on these hook routes and getting some nice and easy catches. Cameron now 3 catches for 27 yards. Robertson gets a snap out of shotgun, surveying the field. Throwing to Turner on the flat. He's met by Quay Moss. And he's fired up.
Quay Moss on the tackle.
And that was another play. Sawyer, trying to go through his progressions, get a good pass option, but sometimes he just has to realize he does have running capabilities. He can go and get a couple yards, and right there was so many lanes for him to run, but just stayed in the pocket and had to play go behind the line of scrimmage.
Had all the time in the world, motioning Cole Wilson again, trying to find him in the pylon, and it's picked off. That's Daniel Cobbs with the interception.
That was something that we talked about earlier, the struggles this Baylor offense has had when they get inside the 20, and they're just not a good decision by Sawyer throwing that pass into, he just couldn't get it ahead of Daniel Cobbs, and it was just straight to him there, and he was almost playing receiver at the end.
It was the same throw as the one that was incomplete on the good pass breakup by Quay Moss. You motion Cole Wilson across the line of scrimmage going from your right to left, and then you basically get him on that wheel route going down the sideline, and you try to find him on that kind of deep ball down the sideline. And again, Sawyer Robertson, both those times underthrowing that ball, putting it in harm's way. That's Robertson's 4th interception on the season.
And that was a drive that Baylor had to take advantage of. Kansas State, a team that does not shoot themselves on the foot often, but had a turnover, had to punt the ball, had a illegal block in the back that put them back, had a couple bad plays, and now Baylor didn't take advantage of it, and back in the same position, Kansas State leading this game. And we'll see what Baylor's defense can do here as Kansas State is backed up pretty far into their own end zone.
So it said that Daniel Cobbs was down at the 1 yard line, the 2 yard line, unable to get in the end zone for a touchback. Avery Johnson in the shotgun, hands it off to Joe Jackson up the middle. He's got some room. And they'll be taken down at the 11 yard line, just a yard short of the line to gain. Again, that K-State running offense starting to find its footing against the struggling Baylor defense. As the clock runs down in this first quarter, 10 seconds left, both teams heading to their sidelines. And again, Aidan, just kind of what we've been seeing all season from that defense, just unable to stop the run, and the offense unable to capitalize when the defense does get that stop.
Yeah, on that play specifically, it looked like just not a good call as well on the play calling side of it, as the blitz came from the right side and the run was clearly, the blitz was coming from the left and the run was clearly going to the right, and this created so much space as they just didn't collapse on the right side. And the offense not taking advantage of what they have and getting down within the 20, just having a lot of mental hiccups all season long. And like you talked about in a couple of the previous drives, this does seem a lot like that Auburn game where Baylor stays in it in the first couple quarters. Auburn led a lot, and then Baylor doesn't do enough to really take that lead back, and they get down multiple scores. Right now, they're only looking at a 7-3 deficit, but with Kansas State now getting out of their own end zone, there's a real threat that it could be a 14-3 game to start the second quarter.
So with that, we'll step aside just for a few minutes. We'll come back with the start of the second quarter here from McLean Stadium in Waco. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
We are back with the start of the second quarter here in Waco, Texas. Kansas State leads Baylor 7-3. Handoff up the middle. That'll be good enough for a first down on the 2nd and 1. That'll be Joe Jackson once again. And we saw it, Dylan Edwards to start this game. 2 rushes for 4 yards, but since then it's been all Joe Jackson in that backfield.
And now Blake Barnett coming back onto the field for Kansas State.
They used him early in their last drive, ended in a 3-and-out. He'll run up the middle after faking the handoff, and he's taken down.
I mean, this is something that Kansas State is known to do, try to have misdirection in the backfield on who's going to rush the ball. And having 2 rushing quarterbacks on the field at the same time, plus our running back, can be a real threat, but it looks like the play calling so far has just not been there in terms of getting wide open lanes for them.
That was Jacob Redding on the tackle. Motions Edwards out of the backfield. Throwing to the right, has a man open. That's Will Ancio. And so it'll be 3rd down for K-State. Avery Johnson back under center. Empty backfield, 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Baylor rushes only 4, throwing it on the flat. As a man taken out of bounds just short of the first down. That's to Joe Jackson out of the backfield. It'll be 4th down, and here comes the punt unit.
Great job by LeVar Thornton, tracking him down, making sure he doesn't get any moves on him, any dupes, spins, or anything like that to get upfield. As that has been a problem this year for Baylor, having a lot of missed tackles.
The last 2 drives for that Baylor defense, forcing a quick punt. This one very high, a little bit farther, bounces at the 40-yard line, and again, with that backspin, going back towards the K-State end, and out of bounds at the Baylor 43-yard line. So again, 2 straight drives for the defense, as we just mentioned, and they look very impressive. And I think my main thing with those last 2 K-State drives is I'm very confused. Why do you have Blake Barnett playing on as your quarterback 1st and 2nd down when you've got Avery Johnson, who already has a 31-yard rushing touchdown and is your guy? That's your guy. So why do you start your drive off with Blake Barnett, I guess, and maybe won't last long as Sawyer Robertson gets the snap. Down the sideline trying to get Trigg, and there's a flag thrown. That'll be pass interference.
And as you were talking about, I think that Avery Johnson run gave them a little false confidence, being like, hey, what if we put more rushers on the field? And with that pass interference play being called now, what if we put more rushers on the field? Maybe they'll confuse the Baylor defense even more. But so far, it just doesn't seem the setup for those plays has worked anywhere near as well as their basic run plays with Joe Jackson or Avery Johnson.
Yeah, penalty going against strong safety VJ Payne. Tackle for loss and forced fumble as Bryson Washington met immediately in the backfield. That's Kenigel Thomas. Only had 1 tackle coming into this game. That was against Iowa State in week 0. And he found Bryson Washington at the line of scrimmage. So now 2nd and 10. Baylor on the K-State 42-yard line after the pass interference. Robertson rolling to his right. He's got some room. He'll cut up field. Breaks the tackle, and he'll be taken down. That's by number 8, Chidi Obiezor. Redshirt redshirt sophomore out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. So Sawyer Robertson finally starting to use his legs again. Has become much more of a pocket passer as he hands it off to Washington up the middle. Bouncing off some defenders. He's still going. He dropped the ball. And it's picked up by K-State. And the officials signal K-State ball. And again, just like last drive, your defense gets off the field quickly, and the offense ends their drive with the turnover.
And this was the problem with Arizona State. The defense, they haven't been great this season, but when they do get stops, it seems the offense couldn't produce. And the defense eventually, that leads to them getting tired, fatigued. And the defense that already isn't one of the best in the country gets even worse. And so for Baylor, they have to capitalize on drives like those. And on that play specifically, Bryson Washington doing a great job of, trying to continue to fight, but there just has to be better security in terms of fumbles, interceptions, and making sure that they are not turning over this ball.
That's what killed them last time they were here just 2 weeks ago against Arizona State. 2 fumbles from Josh Cameron and an interception from Sawyer Robertson did them in as they lost 27-24 on a walk-off field goal. We'll step aside just for a few moments. 11:06 remaining in the first half. K-State still up 7-3. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
11:06 remaining. K-State up 7-3. K-State offense back on the field after Bryson Washington's fumble forced by Kanigel Thomas. Recovered by Asa Newsome. Now with the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 21-yard line. Johnson fakes the handoff and he's going to run. Going to his right, slides down just short of the 30-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 26-yard line. 2nd down and 5. I guess that's the thing with quarterback slides, is they mark you down when you start the slide, not when you initially hit the ground. Motions Edwards to the backfield. Throws to him on the flats. And he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Caldre Williford with the tackle. Williford came into today 8 solo tackles, 2 pass breakups in 4 games played. Make that 9 solos on the season. It's 3rd and 6. They motion the receivers in. finds Oakley on the outside, and he won't get a first down. K-State trying to keep that Baylor defense with a head on the swivel, moving both sides of their receivers in. Again, seeing some more of that motion, but again, couldn't get enough. Only a gain of 2, trying to find Garrett Oakley on the flat. So Simon McClannon comes out for a 3rd straight drive to punt. Almost blocked. This one a better punt. Josh Cameron fair catches at the 30-yard line. So Baylor's defense 3 straight punts forced. The offense hasn't been able to cash in just yet. 2 straight turnovers. And now time for redemption. And we'll be back in a few minutes. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Week 6, sunny skies overhead on this Go Gold Saturday afternoon here in Waco. 9-10 remaining in the first half. Sawyer Robertson finding Trigg on the right sideline. He's taken out of bounds. Past the 40-yard line for a first down. Michael Trigg, his 2nd catch of the day. Came into today 3rd among tight ends in receiving yards. Up the middle with Bryson Washington. He's got some room. He's taken down in the K-State territory inside the 45-yard line. Two receivers each way. Ball on the right hash mark. Caden Knighton right next to Sawyer Robertson in the backfield. Gets the snap, fakes the handoff. Under pressure, gets out of a tackle, and there he goes. Tosses it, finds Caden Knighton for the check down. What a great play by Sawyer Robertson, evading pressure and missing a near sack from number 55, Malcolm Crowder, and getting a good chunk for a first down. now on the K-State 30-yard line. Surveys the field. Going down the middle. Has a man open. In for the touchdown. That's Kobe Prentice, his 6th touchdown of the season.
And that was a touchdown this Baylor team desperately needed. Now back in control of this game with the lead. And as we talked about during the break, you know, they weren't having success going just straight down the field one-on-one, but going towards the middle of the field like that play there really is successful for them, and now they have a touchdown.
Prentice came into today tied for 6th in the nation with 5 receiving yards, tallies 1 more as the Bears take the lead, and Hawkins' extra point is up, and it is good. Bears up 10-7 with 7:39 remaining in the second quarter. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Baylor just took their first lead of the ball game. It's 10-7. A 30-yard touchdown to Kobe Prentice, capping off a 4-play, 70-yard drive, taking only 1 minute and 31 seconds off the clock. And Aidan, that offense, like you said, you going up the middle, that's where they're able to create that separation, and it paid dividends right there. Red Armstrong's kick short down the sideline, and it'll be fielded at the 5-yard line. Taken down is Mitchell at the 12-yard line. So again, Kansas State in bad field position to start their drive. They've had to punt the last 3 times.
And you were completely right, Jeffrey. And those passes down the middle of the field, whether they be slants that just go for an extra 20 yards, is what has been the bread and butter of this Baylor offense.
So Avery Johnson under center to start this drive, hands it off. That'll be only a short gain. That's for Dylan Edwards. back in the game after Joe Jackson beaten up most of the playing time.
And Edwards been really quiet today, only having 3 attempts for 4 yards.
Joe Jackson has 3 runs for 19. And now the backfield is empty. Edwards to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Motions Edwards across, fakes the handoff. And he's rolling to his right, evades the sack, and throws it out of bounds.
Devontae Tesno almost getting a strip sack there in the end zone. Could have been costly for Kansas State, but Avery Johnson getting it out quick enough.
And Tesno has already made his presence known, making some noise behind the line of scrimmage earlier in this game. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from their own 12-yard line for Kansas State. Drops back under pressure, evades the tackle, finds a man open. It's Jerron Bradley. Excuse me, that's Jerron Tibbs. Last week had a career-high 8 receptions for 72 yards. That mark 1 yard shy of tying his career high. Now in the pistol, running back behind him, Edwards, and then Joe Jackson to his right. Hands it off to Edwards to the right side. Breaks 1 tackle, and he'll be taken down.
Dylan Edwards, the ball carrier, brought down by Keaton Thomas.
That's Keaton Thomas, the team leader in tackles on the stop for Baylor. That's Thomas's 2nd tackle on the day.
I mean, and outside Avery Johnson, this Baylor defense has done a great job of keeping the running backs in check, only allowing 31 yards rushing.
Johnson in the pocket, finds a man up the field. It's caught. Jerron Tibbs working his way to the left side, and he'll be brought down past the Baylor 35-yard line. Brought down by number 22, Reggie Bush II. And off up the middle. And Dylan Edwards will be taken down at the 31-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3, make it 2nd and 7. Tyler Jordan on the tackle for Baylor. K-State hasn't gotten into the Baylor red zone just yet. 11 yards from that part of the field. Faking the toss. 2 guys in his face, and his throw to Cole Oakley spikes it into the ground at his feet. And he'll make it 3rd down and 7 yards to go.
And Keaton Thomas was right there, and probably a good decision by Avery Johnson just to kind of throw it towards the ground, because Garrett Oakley was going to get blown up on that play if he had caught that.
4 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the half. K-State with the ball on the Baylor 31-yard line. Late substitution as Joe Jackson sprints off. Blake Barnett back on in the backfield with Avery Johnson right next to him. Motions Barnett out of the backfield. Johnson, and his ball is tipped and incomplete. Almost picked off by Kylan Reed. Trying to find his wide receiver Isaac Cook. Can't get it to go, so here comes Luis Rodriguez and the field goal unit.
Very interesting decisions by this Kansas State offense. As every time Blake Barnett has come onto the field, none of those plays have been positive for them.
A 49-yard kick on the left hash mark. The kick is up, and it is good. Luis Rodriguez now 7 for 7 on field goals this season, ties this game up at 10. A little under 4.5 minutes left before the teams go into the locker room for halftime. And you're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
And we are back from McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas. 49-yard field goal from Luis Rodriguez ties this game at 10 points apiece. Just under 4.5 minutes left in this first half between the 3-2 Baylor Bears and the 2-3 Kansas State Wildcats. As Simon McLennan's kick rolls out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And Baylor's offense back on the field after a quick 4-play, 70-yard drive that ended in a 30-yard touchdown to Kobe Prentice, their last time out.
And this offense done so well today, moving the ball down the field. And the problem for them hasn't been getting yardage, it's been when they get on Kansas State's side of the field.
Their own 25-yard line. Michael Turner in the backfield with Sawyer Robertson. A flag will be thrown before the snap. So it will be a false start on Colton Price, a redshirt junior center out of Bowie, Texas. Preseason fourth team All Big 12 and Remington Award watch list. Two receivers both ways. Taking the handoff. Going on the flat, and it's dropped by Ashton Hawkins.
Pass intended for Ashton Hawkins.
Ashton Hawkins had a good play earlier, but still just has not been himself ever since the SMU game.
Hawkins only one catch for 12 yards today. Robertson gets the ball in the shotgun. Play action, going downfield up the middle. Michael Trigg elevating with an unbelievable catch and is taken down at the 43-yard line.
And that's why he's on the John Mackey Award watch list. Being able to make plays like that, high-pointing the ball. What an impressive catch.
Just under 4 minutes remaining. Hand off to Michael Turner, and he's met by Cody Stufflebeam at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10 yards to go. I think for Baylor, you might want to take your time on this drive, take it down to the end of this half. They get the ball back, start the second half, so maybe you get a 2-for-1 here. Robertson in the pocket, throwing downfield up the middle, has a man open. And taken down at the 30-yard line. That's Cole Wilson.
That'll mark his 37th straight game with a reception.
That'll be leading to a timeout or a quick stoppage of play. Both sidelines were coming onto the field. And the crew chief will say run the clock. Baylor, the ball on K-State's 29-yard line, 2:45 left in the first half. Robertson play action, trying to find a man on a slant, and it's incomplete. Ashton Hawkins unable to come up with it. VJ Payne with the pass breakup. Excuse me, that was number 9, Donovan McIntosh.
And this is where Baylor has struggled on Kansas State's side of the field.
2nd and 10. Motioning Wilson to the right side. He caught it with some room down the field, trying to make a man miss. Trips up just short of the 15-yard line. That'll move the sticks for Baylor. 2 receptions for Cole Wilson on this drive. That's good for 39 yards of Baylor's 58 on this drive. Robertson looking to the end zone. To the sideline, it's caught! Michael Trigg mosses the defender. And he's in for 6.
What an impressive catch by Michael Trigg. It looked like there was no chance of him getting that ball, Jeffrey, but he high-pointed it, and that's a touchdown for Baylor.
Michael Trigg, standing at 6'4", 240 pounds, elevates once again and makes an incredible catch on that back pylon and gives the Bears a 16-10 lead. Unreal athleticism that is seldom seen from tight ends, but Michael Trigg in a class of his own. And it looks like we'll have a review. See if Michael Trigg had his feet in. He completed the catch.
And that was a particular type of play that we had talked about. You know, those deep go balls had not been successful for Baylor in this game. But right there, just him able to high point that ball, and that was not the only time during this drive where he was able to make a catch like that. Had another impressive catch to move Baylor to the midfield mark.
Yeah, just looking at that replay, looks like he has both his feet in. I guess it's just a matter of whether he has the ball in his possession. Coming into today, Michael Trigg, 3rd among tight ends in receiving yards, came in with 284, and he was 1st in receiving touchdowns with 4, hoping to make that number 5. That would also be good for 2nd most receiving yards on Baylor, just behind Kobe Prentice, who caught a touchdown pass a little while ago. Aidan, what are you seeing on this replay?
I mean, it looks to me as though he gets his feet in. I'm wondering what they keep pausing on, though, is clearly the beginning he has possession. He gets 1 foot down.
I think there's the 2nd foot right there. Makes the catch in the air, jump, comes down on his left foot, and then following is that right foot. I guess they're seeing if that right foot touchdown.
Maybe seeing if he had possession of the ball when his first foot came down. And this has been a tricky thing for many years. Is it a catch? Is it not a catch? All of the things that go into it, whether it be possession, whether it be where the ball is placed, the feet of the player.
And remember, in college, you only need 1 foot to be in bounds, and I think it was pretty certain that he got his foot in bounds.
Because it looks like there's still a lengthy discussion from the referees, and so very peculiar in what they would be discussing.
If there's possibly a part of the catch after his foot comes down where He bobbles it a little bit, loses some of that possession. I think that's really the only thing, because from our vantage point, again, watching this replay on the Jumbotron at McLean Stadium, from our vantage point, it looks like he got that foot in. I didn't really, when the play happened, I didn't really see any issue with possession, but here's the call. And it's incomplete. Wow.
And they do not give a reason as to why, which is very interesting.
So that'll take 6 points off the board for Baylor. What a turn of events. 2 minutes, 2 seconds remaining. Second down for Baylor. Handoff to Michael Turner up the middle. There he goes. Breaks the tackle, and he's in. Touchdown, Bears.
And what a way to respond. Having a great catch by Michael Trigg. It's overturned. And then responding immediately was Michael Turner getting his first rushing touchdown of this year.
And his first touchdown as a college football player, the freshman out of North Richland Hills, Texas. Put 6 back up on the board for Baylor. Just a great job by Michael Turner, being able to wiggle his way out of a tackle. Had a K-State defender wrapping up his leg, able to kick it up and find that green grass. And the kick is up, and it is good. Well, after an overturned touchdown, which would have gone to Michael Trigg, just a play later, it's Michael Turner finding himself in the end zone for 6. Baylor back on top, 17-10, just under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears, are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Bears up 17-10. Michael Turner finding the end zone for his first time as a college football player, capping off an 8-play, 75-yard drive, taking 2 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. Minute 57 remaining before halftime. Red Armstrong's kick fielded inside the 5-yard line. The return will be down past the 25-yard line for the K-State Wildcats, looking to tie this ball game before half. But this offense, they've been struggling as of late. Their field goal, the last drive, broke a string of 3 consecutive punts. They started off the day with a 10-play, 75-yard drive that ended in a touchdown.
First down, Kansas State, 37-yard line.
Avery Johnson motions Joe Jackson out of the backfield. Spread offense, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And he'll take it and run. He's got some open space, and he'll slide down at the 40-yard line.
And that was something that was very weird about those last couple drives, is Kansas State not doing those QB draws, because clearly, as we see there, it works every single time for them.
Yeah, that Baylor 4-man rush, push to the outside, try to get some motion on the inside, but again, just not able to match the speed of Avery Johnson, who finds Garrett Oakley on the short comebacker. He'll be taken down in forward progress, stopping at the 46-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 5. Clock ticking away, minute 10. Throwing it to the outside, he has Jerron Tibbs, who falls out of bounds after a short gain.
Pass complete to Jerron Tibbs.
Keaton Thomas doing a good job there applying pressure to Avery Johnson, who, as we talked about in the pregame, is not known for being a prolific passer, and a lot of these passes we've seen have been short and only about 5 or 10 yards.
Johnson 12 for 16, 98 passing yards thus far. Leads the team with 47 rushing yards, though. To the outside, diving catch by number 87, Braden Lofton. And it's incomplete. He doesn't come down with it. Made it what looked like a great diving snag, just unable to complete the catch out of bounds. So it'll be 2nd and 10 with the clock stopped at 1 minute and 2 seconds on the Baylor 48-yard line. Dumps it off to Dylan Edwards, who's swamped down at the 35-yard line. Good enough for a first down. Again, we're seeing Avery Johnson not really going beyond that 10-yard marker for his throws against another check down. Going to the flat this time once again. That's to Isaac Cook, who gets his 2nd target of the day, his first reception. That's good for 6 yards.
6-yard gain, 2nd down.
Not wasting any time, up the middle. Finds a man.
Pass complete to Braden Lofton.
That's Braden Lofton again, his 2nd reception on the drive.
Keaton Thomas with the tackle.
Kansas State will call a timeout. Wildcats not wasting a whole lot of time on the Baylor side of the field, going no huddle, hurry up offense, and they've worked their way down to the Baylor 23-yard line.
No, they've returned to what their strengths are as an offense. You know, those short 5 to 10 yard passes with blockers in front, whether it be for Joe Jackson or Dylan Edwards, those short passes to the reliable tight ends, and rushing it with Avery Johnson. And that was something that was absent those past couple drives, and clearly on this drive, they have moved the ball down the field very efficiently, very fast, and looking to get a score so that if Baylor gets the ball and scores to begin the second half, they're not down by 2 scores.
Baylor's defense allowing 80 rushing yards 47 of those coming from their quarterback, Avery Johnson. Joe Jackson in the backfield, fakes the handoff, under pressure, rolling to his left. And he'll tuck it and run with it. Goes out of bounds, and it's a penalty thrown. It's going to be a late hit.
Avery Johnson on the keeper. 10 markers down.
Avery Johnson went out of bounds, was shoved. That's going to go against Kylan Reed. Baylor's defense, 62 yards of penalties. I guess as a team, 62 yards of penalties per game. That's 94th in the country. So again, just some of those undisciplined and unprovoked penalties have been costing them throughout this season. And it'll cost them here, so it'll be first down and goal from the 9. First red zone trip for K-State to the end zone. Touchdown! Avery Johnson finds his tight end, Garrett Oakley, up the middle. And they are an extra point away from tying this ball game.
It was like there was some miscommunication there in the secondary. Devin Bobby trying to signal someone to guard Garrett Oakley and then having to do it himself, but just too late.
Luis Rodriguez was in the point after.
Garrett Oakley now one touchdown shy of tying the K-State tight end touchdown record as the kick is up, and it is good. We are tied at 17 with 13 seconds remaining. So Oakley just needs one more touchdown of tying Ben Sinos and Henry Childs' record for career touchdowns by a tight end. Well, we'll be back. We'll step aside just for a few moments. With 13 seconds remaining in the first half, we're all tied up at 7. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
Simon
McClannon on to kick off. 9-yard touchdown catch from Garrett Oakley. Caps off the 9-play, 72-yard drive, taking only a minute, 38 seconds off the clock. McClannon's kick rolls out of the back of the end zone, so Baylor will start on their own 25-yard line. 13 seconds left before the teams go back to their respective locker rooms.
The interesting decision here by Spavital. Do you just run out the clock, or do you try one play to go deep and set up a field goal?
Baylor will receive the ball at half as Kobe Prentice and Cole Wilson on the left side, Josh Cameron on the right, and they'll just run it up the middle with Caden Knighton. Trying to find some room. He'll be taken down at the 28-yard line, and that'll run out the clock for the first half. Baylor's taking 2 leads, but K-State getting a 9-yard touchdown pass from Avery Johnson to Garrett Oakley. Ties this game up at 17. We'll step aside for a few moments, and we'll be back with our thoughts from the first half. So make sure to stay tuned for that. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
We are at halftime here at McLean Stadium. We're all knotted up at 17 between the Baylor Bears and the Kansas State Wildcats. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio. I'm Jeffrey Cohen. Here alongside me, Aidan O'Connor. Aidan, in that first half, both teams tied up, but for Baylor, that offense, they haven't had issues going down the field, but it's been once they get on that K-State side, that's where issues start to arise.
Yeah, exactly. And once they get past that point, it just seems like struggles happen, whether it be turnovers, whether it be just not great play calls that utilize this offense in the way they need to be utilized. And I think it just really slowed down how much of a lead that Baylor could have had at this point. But as seeing by that Kobe Prentice touchdown, they've now gotten to where I think they're starting to relax, starting to be like, hey, these are our strengths. Let's go down the middle of the field. We're not going to go for go balls down the right or left and just hope that we get a pass interference. I think that Baylor is now changing their game plan to what their strengths are, and we've seen that with having 2 leads after a very slow start. And then you look on Kansas State's side, Baylor's completely nullified the rushing game in terms of the running back room for Kansas State, and that was a big thing we talked about. Dylan Edwards been non-existent in this game, 5 attempts for 10 yards. Joe Jackson had a couple moments in the first quarter where he showed some promise, but only 5 attempts for 24 yards. The big thing for Kansas State has been Avery Johnson's rushing, and that's where they weren't getting a lot of yards, weren't moving the ball down the field when they weren't utilizing him as a rusher. And in that last drive there, you saw it be re-implemented with those QB draws. And I think the second half is honestly going to be a shootout between these two teams because they have both figured out their offenses, and there's not much these defenses can do to really stop those strengths.
Yeah, and for that Kansas State rushing offense, 85 total yards, 52 of those have been from Avery Johnson. Joe Jackson leading the running backs with 24 yards. Dylan Edwards with 10 on 5 rushes. Blake Barnett, 2 rushes for -1 yards. And also on the Baylor side, talking about stalling out, there are 2 turnovers. That Sawyer Robertson interception put that ball on K-State's own 2-yard line, and then that fumble putting the ball inside K-State, inside their own 20 as well. But throughout the first half, Bears 267 yards to K-State's 217. Sawyer Robertson, 13 for 19 for 179 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Avery Johnson, 16 for 21, 132 yards, and a lone passing touchdown. He also has a rushing touchdown as well. For Baylor rushing, Bryson Washington leading the way, 7 runs for 57 yards. Michael Turner, 3 for 23 yards. Cohen and Aidan also with 3 rushing attempts, only 2 yards. He's been more of a passing back. And leading the way for Kansas State receiving, Jerron Tibbs, 3 catches, 57 yards. And on the Baylor side will be Michael Trigg, 3 catches, 45 yards. Well, that'll do it from us here in the first half. We are all tied up. 17 points for Baylor, 17 for Kansas State on this sunny Saturday afternoon in early October here in Waco, Texas. So make sure to stay tuned as we'll be back a couple minutes before the kickoff of the second half with our initial thoughts for the last 30 minutes of football. So make sure to stay tuned for that. You're listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. I'm Aidan O'Connor alongside Jeffrey Cohen, and it has been a contested game today between Baylor and Kansas State, now tied up 17-all as we're about to kick off the second half with Baylor receiving. And Jeffrey, we were talking about this a little bit during the break and how really a lot of players for Kansas State have been taken out. Dylan Edwards, Jace Brown, but it hasn't really mattered for them all that much because of Avery Johnson's ability to run, and that's been the big factor in this game, him having 52 yards and a touchdown, and just the space the offensive line is able to create for him.
Yeah, and I think a big credit to that O-line. They've been able to kind of push that Baylor pass rush just off to the side, right? They're able to spread him out, and it just leaves a big gaping hole right in front of Avery Johnson, giving him plenty of room to run, and that's where he's loved to go, is just run up the middle, maybe find some room one way or another, and then eventually slide down after a gain of 5 or 10 yards, or if he has more room. But that Baylor pass rush, what they really got to do is they've got to eat up the middle of the field, like that middle of the line of scrimmage, and force Avery Johnson. If he wants to exit that pocket, he's going to have to roll out to one of to either side and not just run straight up and start going downhill.
Now to begin the second half, Simon McLennan set to kick it off for Kansas State, and that will be a touchback. Baylor coming onto the field looking to take another lead in this game. Had a lot of missed opportunities in that first half, looking to capitalize here. 1st and 10 at their own 25.
Yeah, those back-to-back turnovers back in the first half, that could be really demoralizing for an offense, but they did a great job of bouncing back. 2 straight touchdown drives to follow. Now a chance to take their 3rd lead of the day.
Now 3 wide receivers to Sawyer's left, 1 to his right. Bryson Washington in the backfield. Sawyer looking to throw, and he will dump it off to, looks like,
Bryson Washington.
Bryson Washington on that play, and Bryson Washington will fumble it there for a second and finally get the ball back. But that was a risky play there with Baylor, almost being picked off there.
Yeah, try to go to Bryson Washington, the check down, bobbling that ball a little bit, but just able to gain possession before 2 K-State defenders could get to him. One of them, Desmond Purnell, has 29 tackles on the season.
Now 3 wide receivers to Sawyer's right, 1 to his left. Michael Turner in the backfield. Michael Turner will go up the field and will get the first down for Baylor. Michael Turner really having a breakout day today, having his first touchdown earlier. Now Baylor with a 1st and 10 at their own 36. 2 wide receivers to Sawyer's right and left. Michael Turner staying in the game at running back. Sawyer looking to pass, looking to his right, looking at the middle of the field, and that will be incomplete. The pass was intended for Kobe Prentice, but just couldn't haul it in. Now a 2nd and 10 at the 36-yard line for Baylor.
Yeah, it was a good idea by Sawyer Robertson. Had plenty of time to get that throw off just between the grasp of Kobe Prentice, unable to connect on a mid-sized route up the middle.
Now Sawyer looking to throw again. Under pressure, escapes to his left. Throws it down the field, and that will be caught by Ashton Hawkins as he will go out of bounds. Sawyer doing a great job today evading pressure as we saw in the first half.
Yeah, and he's just really showing that great pocket presence, rolling out to his left right there, and also a very difficult throw to make. As a righty, he's throwing he has to twist his body, kind of throwing against his body's momentum, able to find a strike to Ashton Hawkins on the sideline.
Now 3rd and 5 at their own 41. Sawyer surveying the field. He's going to rushing upfield, and looks like he will get the first down there. Be taken down by Donovan McIntosh.
And you know Sawyer, he's a tough guy, but you just can't help but hold your breath when you see that offensive general take a hit like that.
Now Sawyer looking to pass under duress. The pass will be caught on the right side of the field by Josh Cameron.
And he was about a split second away from a strip sack as it looks like Toby Osunsami looks to be hampered with an injury. But again, he was working around Sidney Fugar, Baylor's left tackle, and almost got his hand in there on Sawyer's throw. But just a second too late.
There was definitely a lot of pressure there, and that will be a big loss for Kansas State if Toby Osunsami does not come back into the game. Leading the team in 5 TFLs and 4 sacks. Now Baylor back out onto the field. 2nd and 4 at their own 47.
Yeah, Osunsami already with a tackle for a loss today.
Now another handoff to Turner. Turner getting some room up the field. Flag is thrown. Will be tackled down by number 7, VJ Payne. I'll be holding on Sidney Fugar. That will set back that Michael Turner run. Sidney Fugar has had a tough year so far in terms of penalties, seeming like anytime there is a holding call, it's probably from that side of the line. Now 2nd and 12 at their own 45. 2 wide receivers to Sawyer's right, 2 to his left. Turner still in the backfield. Knighton in the backfield. Will try to go up the middle, but won't get much. Now looking like they were going to get a first down. Now set back to a 3rd and 10 at their own 47. Two wide receivers to Sawyer's left, 1 to his right. Michael Trigg lined up near the offensive line on the left side. Caden Knighton in the backfield. Trigg being motioned to the right. Sawyer surveying the field, looking to his right to throw. And he tried to find a man on the right side. And that will be dropped.
That was a hard hit by VJ Payne, and Michael Trigg is down. Bobbled the initial catch, and there comes VJ Payne laying the boom out of bounds. Michael Trigg has not gotten up yet.
And those have been some of the catches he's been known for, going up, getting those high point passes, and they're not able to bring it in and just getting laid out by VJ Payne, like you said.
Yeah, that's not a smart throw with that defense. That's as we saw, that's going to get you guys hurt. Just leaving them open down the sideline for guys physical as VJ Payne.
Now Quayma is set to receive the punt from Palmer Williams. And that will be a great punt by Palmer Williams. It'll be inside the 5-yard line. Jacob Redding making sure it doesn't go into the end zone. And with that, we will take a quick break. It is still 17-17 between Baylor and Kansas State with 11 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. You've been listening to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. 11 minutes and 16 seconds to go in this third quarter. Tied up at 17 between Baylor and Kansas State. And now Kansas State backed up in their own end zone once again, Jeffrey, with a 1st and 10 at their own 3.
Yeah, and this has been the farthest back that they've started a drive since that interception back in the first half, started on their own 2-yard line.
Now running up the middle with Joe Jackson, trying to create some room. And Joe Jackson today been a lot more productive than Dylan Edwards, a complete reversal of what we thought going into this game. Now a 2nd and 7 at their own 6. Now one wide receiver to Avery Johnson's right and to his left. Garrett Oakley set up near the offensive line. Another hand. He fakes the handoff. Avery Johnson going to his right, and he won't get a lot of room there. Pushed out of bounds by number 27, Tevin Williams. Looking like they were going to hand it off to Joe Jackson, but he faked the handoff. Trying to get some yardage, but it will still be a 3rd down and 3 for Kansas State at their own 10.
Kansas State 3 for 7 on 3rd down so far. Only a few of those times have been less than 5 yards to go. This time only 3.
Now Garrett Oakley and Joe Jackson in the backfield now for Kansas State. Avery Johnson looking to pass, rolling out to his left. Has a lot of time. A lot of pressure trying to rush up the field now, and he will be taken down.
Johnson on the keeper.
He's taken down by number 59, Devontae Tesno.
3-yard gain, 1st down.
Still end up in a 1st down for Kansas State. It looked like there was going to be a lot bigger play there, Jeffrey. Had a lot of time there for Avery Johnson.
Yeah, he was rolling out to his left, trying to find a man downfield. When he realized he didn't have the time to throw downfield, did a great job of cutting it back up the middle, going to his right and getting enough for the 1st down.
Now they'll run it again with Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson getting some good yardage up the field. And he had to come in earlier in this season, Dylan Edwards being injured, and really made himself known, having 142 yards before this game, and today now having 27.
Yeah, had 136 yards on 3 runs in non-conference play.
Avery Johnson looking to pass again, and he has a man over the middle. That is Jerron Tibbs. He'll be taken down by number 3, Devin Bobby. Not before he gets the 1st down for Kansas State. Kansas State now marching down the field. 1st and 10 at their own 33 with 8 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the 3rd.
If I'm Dave Aranda, I want to see more out of these linebackers in coverage. The middle of the field has been wide open all day. You need your guys like Keaton Thomas and Kylan Reed to defend, especially against those slants.
Now another handoff to Joe Jackson. He'll be taken down after a little gain by Devin Bobby.
Yeah, good job by Devin Bobby to trip him up. He was the last guy to be, and had a lot of grass open behind Bobby. Great job with that open field tackling. One thing that they addressed earlier in the season after that Auburn game. And you can tell as the season has progressed, that defense has gotten better and better about that open field tackling.
Now 2nd and 6 at their own 37. Avery Johnson looking to pass again, under pressure, throws a deep ball down the field, and that will be dropped by Jerron Tibbs. Tyler Turner on the coverage.
That was an absolutely perfect ball right there. Got it right in that basket, but just went right in between the arms of Jerron Tibbs. That would have been a massive gain and a big momentum shifter for this K-State offense.
And that must be a massive sigh of relief for Dave Aranda that play did not go through for Kansas State. Now a 3rd and 6 at their own 37. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Avery Johnson looking to pass again. Under pressure, dumps it off to Jackson. And Jackson will be taken down by Kylan Reed.
We'll see. That's going to be close to the first down marker. We'll see where it's placed.
I think we have seen during this drive, while Kansas State is moving the ball, there has been a lot more pressure on Johnson.
Now it's 4th and 1. K-State 6 for 15 on 4th downs this season. We'll see if it pays off. Only need 1 yard to get the first down.
Now Blake Barnett back into the game. Taking the snap for Kansas State. 3 wide receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Looks like Blake Barnett's going to run up the middle. And he will get the first down, it looks like, for Kansas State. The first real positive play with him in the game.
Yeah, and that was probably the most obvious play that I think we've seen all day. I think once they took Joe Jackson out of the backfield, we knew exactly what they were going to do. They're going to run up the middle with whoever's in the shotgun, whoever's behind that center, just so happened to be Blake Barnett.
Now a 1st and 10 at their own 46. Johnson fakes the handoff. And get a pass down the field.
That's Jace Brown. That's his first catch of the game.
Looks like there's some chirping between him and Devin Bobby. And as you said, Jace Brown not really been involved in this game, but his first catch being a big one that sets them up near the end zone.
Yeah, Jace Brown coming into today, leading the team with 25 catches, 284 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Also had a monster year last year, having 47 catches, 823 yards. That was most by a K-State receiver since Tyler Lockett in 2014.
Now another handoff to Jackson, up the left side, breaking tackles. He'll be taken down by number 22, Reggie Bush, the second.
Yeah, if you look a little bit farther downfield, wide receiver Jerron Tibbs losing his helmet while blocking. Just a play before on that big reception by Jace Brown, also lost his helmet right before he was jawing at Devin Bobby. Again, having to come off the field for at least 1 play.
Now a 2nd and 1 at Baylor's 15. Kansas State looking to take the lead here. And it will be tipped at the line. Avery Johnson trying to pass it out to Joe Jackson. That will be incomplete. Now a 3rd down and 1 at Baylor's 15 for Kansas State. 5 minutes and 27 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter.
That ball was almost intercepted. But DK Kalu came in to today questionable to play, almost had the interception. Big play right here.
Now Avery Johnson fakes the handoff. Will get the first down, but will trip, looking like he was going for the end zone there. But I guess to Baylor's relief and Dave Aranda's relief, he did trip on a potential touchdown.
Yeah, and he had Garrett Oakley blocking right in front of him and had a lot of room to run, just lost his footing trying to cut upfield after going to his left. But he can hang his hat on at least getting that first down and converting.
Now 1st and 10 for Kansas State at Baylor's 12. There will be a stoppage here. So they're resetting the play clock now to 25 seconds. 1st and 10 at Baylor's 12. 4 minutes and 51 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter. 2 wide receivers to Avery Johnson's right. Will Ancio and Garrett Oakley lined up on both ends of the offensive line. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Johnson fakes the handoff again, looking for Jace Brown in the end zone, and it will be a touchdown for Kansas State. Jace Brown, who's been quiet for almost the entire game, makes himself known with a touchdown catch there.
Yeah, again, working up the middle of the field. Jace Brown's been quiet all day. And on this drive, 2 big catches and gets in for 6 as K-State retakes the lead.
Now Luis Rodriguez set to kick the extra point. That'll be up and good. Kansas State now leads Baylor 24-17 with 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go. You've been listening to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. Simon McClellan set to kick it off for Kansas State after Kansas State took the lead 24-17 on a 14-play, 97-yard drive that took 6 minutes and 41 seconds in the third quarter. Now Baylor looking to respond, only having 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third. And that will be a touchback from Simon McClellan.
Yeah, I think at this point, a touchdown is a must for this offense. Because if you don't convert on this drive and you let K-State go back down and score another touchdown and you go down by 2 scores, I think we're going to see another Auburn game type of situation where they're just going to be fighting back constantly. Sawyer Robertson's going to have to be playing hero ball. And it hasn't worked out. It didn't work out against Auburn. And by how this game has gone, it doesn't look like it would work today.
At 1st and 10 at their own 25. Handed off to Knighton. Knighton trying to make some room. Evading tackles. Trying to go anywhere, but he will have a big loss for Baylor. Austin Romaine on the tackle. And just Caden Knighton trying to go back and back to get any room he could to get a gain, but taken down by Austin Romaine for a big loss.
I think at some point, if you're Caden Knighton, you're like, you got to go down. You got to go down at some point because the more tackles he broke, the farther back he went, he loses all his forward progress once he breaks out of that tackle. So what looked like what would have been maybe a loss of maybe about 2 or 3 yards ended up being a loss of 11 because he broke 2 or 3 tackles and just kept on going backwards, had nowhere to go, and just didn't pay off for him and the Bears.
And after that, Wesley Farrell will be tended to. Looks like he's injured. And with that, we'll take a quick break. As they tend to him, we'll be back with Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting. Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in this third quarter. Kansas State leading Baylor 24-17. After a big loss for Baylor, a 2nd and 21 at their own 14. Now 2 wide receivers to Sawyer's right, 2 to his left. Bryson Washington now back in the game. Sawyer looking to pass. Trying to find Kobe Prentice, but that ball is way behind him, and that'll be incomplete. Trying to go for the same type of play that got them a touchdown earlier.
Yeah, Robertson looking a little off balance, trying to make that throw. Started to run, but quickly stopped, and his body momentum's going forward, and just unable to set his feet and make a good throw.
Now 3rd and 21 for the Bears at their own 14. Trigg being motioned to the left side of the alignment. Sawyer under pressure and will be taken down after avoiding 1 sack, but he won't be able to avoid the next. Cody Stufflebean getting the sack. Now Baylor will have to punt. And as we talked about, this game's starting to look very reminiscent of that Auburn game.
Yeah, and that was just a complete breakdown by the Baylor O-line. Ryan Langale just unable to keep Cody Stufflebean under wraps. Also, Colton Price unable to keep his man down, who made the initial pressure. Just really nowhere for Sawyer Robertson to go.
Now Palmer Williams punting it from the back of his own end zone. Be received by Quay Moss from Kansas State, and he will immediately be met by Baylor.
That's the long snapper, Dylan Shaw, making the tackle right there. Big hit. And that was against Sterling Lockett, a punt return man. And if you think that name's familiar, well, you'd be right. His brother's with Tyler Lockett, K-State legend, currently a wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans in his 11th season in the NFL. And just a little fun fact, so Tyler Lockett, Sterling's brother, has the K-State career records for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. You know who he had to beat to get those records? His dad, Kevin Lockett, who had all three of those records before Tyler. So you can tell the Lockett family quite a legacy. Uncle Aaron Lockett as well also played for K-State in 1998 to 2001.
Now Kansas State starting off with the ball with a quick pass to Garrett Oakley for another first down for Kansas State. Now 1st and 10 for Kansas State at Baylor's 31.
Yeah, I still haven't seen this Baylor defense change how they're structured at all. I still see nothing in the middle of that field. No linebacker presence on any of these inside routes.
Now trying to get a pass to Jerron Timms behind the line of scrimmage. And he will be taken down quickly by Tevin Williams. Now 2nd and 9 for Kansas State at Baylor's 30-yard line.
That's Tevin Williams' second tackle of the night. Had 2 solo and an assisted tackle last week in Stillwater. Now at 12 total tackles this season.
2 wide receivers to Avery Johnson's right. Now being motioned over. Avery Johnson looking down the field for another pass to his tight end, and that will be Will Ancio making the contested catch on Tevin Williams. And that will set them up within the 5-yard line.
This Baylor secondary, they really don't have an answer for Avery Johnson. If they go to the inside, well, there's no presence. If they go to the outside, unable to win those one-on-ones, as we just saw Tevin Williams losing that one-on-one against the tight end Will Ancio. And now the ball is on Baylor's 5-yard line and a first down.
Now Dylan Edwards in the backfield now. And they'll hand it off to him, and Dylan Edwards will go to the right, and he will go in for the score. Kansas State now up 2 scores on Baylor. And Dylan Edwards getting his 2nd touchdown as a Kansas State Cougar.
Yeah, and I mean, that drive was just too easy. 4 plays, 44 yards, 2 minutes taken off the clock, as Baylor defense really just doesn't have an answer for Avery Johnson and K-State's offense.
Now Luis Rodriguez set to kick the extra point. That'll be up and good. Kansas State taking a 31-17 lead now with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go after a 4-play, 44-yard drive that took up 2 minutes and 2 seconds of the 3rd quarter. We'll be back with Baylor's response after this on Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. Now after that quick break, we're back with Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. Kansas State now up 31-17. Simon McLennan set to kick things off for Kansas State. Jaden Porter and Cole Wilson set to receive, but that will be another touchback, as Baylor will start with a first down on their own 25 with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter.
Avery Johnson now at 229 passing yards in this game. That's his 3rd best mark on the season. His highest this season at 318 yards. That was back on August 30th against North Dakota. Also at 273 yards. That week 0 loss to Iowa State.
Now the handoff to Michael Turner. We'll go up the field, get a couple yards for Baylor.
Michael Turner, the ball carrier, 5-yard gain.
And that'll be a 2nd and 5 now for the Bears at their own 30.
Yeah, we've been making all these comparisons to the Auburn game, and now you're down 14. It really does feel like it.
Sawyer looking for options, finds Trigg down the middle. That'll be a first down. He's tackled by number 6, Coy Moss. Now 1st and 10 at their own 45. Baylor looks to Michael Turner once again from the backfield.
Michael Turner, the ball carrier.
Michael Turner having a silently productive day so far. 34 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's been their primary running back today. Aidan O'Connor hasn't seen a whole lot of action. 5 rushes, negative 6 yards after that 11-yard loss.
Now Sawyer looking to pass again. We'll find Ashton Hawkins there down the middle of the field. And that will be the end of the 3rd quarter now with that pass. And with the end of the 3rd quarter, we'll be back soon with the last quarter of this game and see if Baylor can make a comeback or Kansas State can maintain their lead. We'll be back with more on Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News. Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting. Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. As we kick off this 4th quarter, between Kansas State and Baylor. Kansas State leading 31-17. Baylor now having a 3rd and 1 at their own 46.
You got to convert here. Bryson Washington back on the field.
Sawyer fakes the handoff to Washington, passes it to a wide open Trigg. And Trigg will get the first down.
There you go.
Zayshawn Rich making the tackle for Kansas State.
Good play called by Jake Savital right there. I know during the break we were kind of questioning some of his persistence on some of these plays that haven't quite gone, but right there you get Michael Trigg, fake the block, and just cut to the outside and find some open area.
Now 1st and 10 at Kansas State's 29. Sawyer looking at his options, finds Cole Wilson. Cole Wilson will get a good gain near the first down there. That'll be another first down for Baylor.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson today, that's what's been clicking, is finding these guys on these curl routes, just coming back, just hitting them right in the chest, and having them just kind of turn around, maybe get a few yards after the catch and get a good gain.
Now 1st and 10 at the 18. Sawyer rolling out to his right, trying to look for the end zone, but just throws it out of bounds there. Wasn't really set to make that throw either, so good job by Sawyer not trying to force a throw that he couldn't make.
Yeah, and I think when you're under pressure like that and you don't have a guy open, I think maybe, just maybe, you just got to throw that ball low. I think he did a good job of keeping that ball right by Cole Wilson's feet, so if he can't get it, then nobody's going to get it.
Bryson Washington in the backfield. Michael Trigg being motioned to the left side of the line. Hand off to Bryson Washington. Bryson Washington bouncing around. And that is something this game, it seems that every time there is a big rush or any gain by the running backs, it's always from them breaking tackles. The offensive line struggling today versus this Kansas State defensive line.
Yeah, this defensive line, I mean, they're a tough group. They really are a tough group.
Now a 3rd and 8. Kansas State 16. Baylor looking to try to make this a 1-score game. Sawyer looking to pass again. Pressure behind him. Rolling out to his right, escaping the pressure. Looking for the end zone. Trying to find Trigg, and that'll be incomplete. Fans calling for a pass interference, but there will be none called.
Yeah, I feel like Sawyer Robertson, I understand what you're trying to do. Michael Trigg has proven to be a good target on those 50-50 balls, but he had so much room in front of him. And on a 3rd down play, I think your goal in that situation is you got to try to get that first down. And now it's going to be 4th and 8.
4th and 8 at the 15. 3 wide receivers to Sawyer's left, 1 to his right. Washington in the backfield. Trigg being motioned closer to the line on the left side. Now will be a timeout taken by Baylor. Looks like they were just hoping to get anybody offsides there, but we're not able to. With that, Kansas State still up 31-17, and we'll be back after this quick break with more Baylor football.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, you haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. 13 minutes and 4 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. 4th and 7 for the Bears at Kansas State's 15. Trying to convert here and get a touchdown on this drive, as there is no other option for Dave Aranda and the Bears. Sawyer looking to have a quick pass, looking for the back of the end zone, and that is just overthrown. That'll be incomplete.
I don't know why you throw that ball. Even if he didn't overthrow it, Cole Wilson's in double coverage, right? That ball, it was going to be hard to catch anyway, and you needed a play that's been working, and throwing it to that back pylon, throwing it downfield to the sideline has not worked at all today. So why do you go to that play when you need to convert, when you need at least 7 yards? Why do you go to the outside? I think that's just not the right play call in that situation. So now you're still down 14 with the ball in K-State's hands with 13 minutes left in this ball game.
Now 1st and 10 for Kansas State at their own 15 for the Baylor turnover on downs. Handoff to Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards will be met at the line of scrimmage by Kylan Reed. Excuse me, that was Keaton Thomas on the tackle.
Well, now you got to lean on that defense. That hasn't been very impressive so far in the second half. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. You're going to need them to force a 3 and out or allow at most only 1 or 2 first downs.
Now Willie Anzio being motioned to the left side of the line. Avery Johnson looking to pass up the middle, and he'll find Garrett Oakley again. These tight ends for today have been a favorite target of Avery Johnson. Oakley has the most receiving yards, has the 2nd most receiving yards for Kansas State.
Yeah, Avery Johnson, ever since he's really gotten on the scene for Kansas State, he's loved his tight ends, loved throwing up the middle, and we've seen that all today. You know, he hasn't really gone to the deep ball at all, really sticking it up the middle for his tight ends or going to the flat with his running backs.
Now Blake Barnett in the game again. They'll fake 2 handoffs, give it to Dylan Edwards, and Dylan Edwards will go up the field for a couple yards. And that is what Kansas State has really been known for this season. A lot of misdirection, a lot of rushers that can create big chunk plays. Didn't work earlier in the game, but seems like they're starting to get a rhythm with these play calls now.
Well, I think now it's because they have a big cushion. They can be more creative with their play calling, because if you do make a mistake, well, it's not the end of the world. At this point, you really just want to run this clock down and eat up as much time as possible, not give Baylor a chance to score 2 touchdowns.
Joe Jackson in the backfield for Kansas State. They'll hand it off to him. Jackson will go up the middle, will be met by a sea of Baylor players. Devin Bobby being the primary tackler. Now a 3rd down for Kansas State. 3rd and 3 at their own 37. Baylor's defense needs to make a stop here if there's any hope of getting back in this game. Kansas State getting set up. 1 wide receiver to Johnson's right, 1 to his left. They'll fake the handoff to Jackson. And Johnson will try to run it but then will just pass it out of bounds. Looks like he was indecisive on whether he was going to try to run that one up the middle and just decided to throw it out of bounds there.
Yeah, well, and that's a big stop for that Baylor defense, bringing that punt team on. As you said, they needed this third down stop if they wanted to have a chance to win this game. 10 minutes, 10 seconds remaining, so there's still a good amount of football left, but again, it hasn't been easy for the Baylor offense.
Now Simon McLennan set to punt it off. Josh Cameron to return. Josh Cameron trying to create some space. Breaking some tackles up the left side. And will be shoved out of bounds near the 20.
Josh Cameron on the return.
Yeah, good job by Josh Cameron. Coming into the season as an All-American punt returner. Hasn't had a whole lot of success this year, but made something out of nothing. Was backpedaling to field that punt and worked his way all the way to the 20-yard line.
And with that there, we'll take another quick break before Baylor's next drive. You've been listening to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News. Hey Bears! Are you a freshman or senior? Freshman and senior portraits are now being scheduled. Watch your Baylor email for more information on how to reserve your sitting.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. 9 minutes and 57 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Baylor with a 1st and 10 at their own 18. Sawyer faking the handoff, looking downfield. They'll be caught by Trigg. Trigg with a big catch.
And that's what they've been needing to do all game. Almost every deep ball that hasn't connected has been on the outside. Work the ball near the hash marks, in between the hash marks, find someone down the seam. And who's been the best receiver all day? It's been Michael Trigg. Great catch by him in coverage.
Now 1st and 10 at Kansas State's 40. Sawyer looking for Trigg again, and Trigg makes a one-handed catch on the sideline.
Are you kidding me? What is that catch? In stride, 3 inches away from the sideline, just sticks that left hand up there and he just grips the end of the ball. Unreal.
Now no need to review that catch.
They will
Actually,
review
never mind. They will review it again. I stand corrected.
Again, I understand just because of how difficult that catch is to make and to keep possession the entire way without letting go of the ball at all. I get that because if you think about it, right, he's got it. His hand is on the end of that football. So he's got to be able to hold that football and not like let go while holding the tip of the football. And I think he does get his foot in, but does he retain possession all the way down to the ground? That's the question.
But now this is interesting. Like the catch earlier and the catch now, everybody in the stadium, including us, thinks these are clearly catches. As I said, that looked like that didn't need to be reviewed. But clearly there's something on these catches, whether it be Trigg's possession, his feet placement, that keeps catching the eye of these referees, and we'll see what they have to say. And this time it is upheld. Baylor will be set up near the 10-yard line now at the 11. And that was a play they desperately needed. If Baylor does not score on this drive, getting a touchdown, the game is pretty much over. And so for Trigg to make a catch like that, so important for this team.
Michael Trigg isn't on the field for this play. You see Matt Kloppenstein lined up on the left side. Maybe see a screen to Ashton Hawkins.
Now first and 10 at Kansas State's 11. Sawyer surveying the field, dumps it off to Bryson Washington. Bryson Washington breaking a tackle, and he will go into the end zone for a touchdown. A touchdown that was desperately needed for this Baylor team. Now only moves this game to within one score.
And Bryson Washington breaking tackle after tackle, finding his way into the gold-painted end zone, and doing a great job of putting Baylor within one score with 8:50 remaining. And what an efficient drive for Baylor. 3 plays, 82 yards, only 1 minute and 7 seconds taken off this clock.
Now, interestingly, it looks like Baylor's set up here to try a 2-point conversion.
Whoa. I think that, I don't know why you would do this. If you...
Trigg lined up in the backfield as a running back. Now being set out to the right with 3 other receivers. Sawyer alone in the backfield. Sawyer looking to take it up the middle as a rusher, and he will have a 2-point conversion for Baylor. And as we talked about, Sawyer not having confidence to rush the ball throughout this entire game, but there, they were like, okay, show us what you're made of. And he goes in for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and that Jake Spavital's making me eat my words. I was saying just a few seconds ago, why are you running this play when if you kick the extra points, a 7-point game? But hey, if you're going to take the risk, you might as well make a pretty good play call, and I think it worked and it paid dividends. Now only down by 6, a touchdown, extra point takes the lead.
And with that, Baylor only leads 25-31 against Kansas State with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go. And that's such an impressive touchdown there and run in by Sawyer. Now it looks like Baylor coming out to the field really quickly to get this kickoff.
Yeah, I think the next time Baylor's offense comes on the field, I think that K-State defense is going to be more accommodating to Michael Trigg, using one of their safeties to double team him down the field, maybe creating some more open space and less attention for these wide receivers on the outside, and maybe that could make the difference down the stretch.
Now Rhett Armstrong kicks it off to Kansas State. Kansas State running up the field and will be hit hard by number 20, Placide Jungu Sungu. Baylor thinking there might have been a fumble on that play.
Well, let's see. There's some talking going on between the officials. But again, this Baylor sideline and McLean Stadium just now invigorated, filled with energy and life after a big touchdown drive and a big hit on the kickoff return.
And the fumble is recovered by Baylor. Seems as there was some confusion as whether there was a fumble or not, but in the end, after some review, Baylor will get the ball back, and momentum has completely shifted, Jeffrey.
Yeah, this game has turned on its head. I mean, in just a matter of seconds, Baylor looked down and out, down by 14. And they're going to go to review, but if this stands, in just a matter of about a minute of clock taken off, you get within 6 points, and then if this stands, you get the ball with less than 20 yards to the end zone. 8:45 remaining in regulation.
And it was such an interesting play as a lot of Baylor players were even walking off the field, and then Cabrion Winston running in the end zone and being like, hey, it was a fumble, and then suddenly got the referees to talk a little more. Very interesting play there. Now the review being shown on the Jumbotron here at McLean.
Yeah, and you could see, like, for just about a solid 15-30 seconds, everybody on that Baylor sideline was just kind of standing still, waiting to see what the officials were going to say. You know, kind of a bang-bang play right there.
And even if this doesn't turn Baylor's way, such a great tone setter. Getting the ball out, whether it be down by contact or not, getting in Kansas State's head, as Kansas State has controlled almost this entire second half.
Yeah, and it's just such a hard hit as well by Placide Jingu-Singu. And I think that can really light a spark in your team with a big hit like that. And we'll see if it pays off a little more than just giving them momentum, but gives them the ball inside the 20. Here's the call.
The runner was ruled down, but as I was saying, even though that wasn't a fumble, the momentum has shifted. The mentality now is that Baylor is roaring back. They don't even need a full touchdown to get back into this game, only being down by 6 points. And now it's all on the Baylor defense, who struggled throughout this season, for them to stop this Kansas State offense one more time, so that Sawyer Robertson, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, can go back on the field and make a statement and regain the lead.
Yeah, just going back to that turning point. This is a turning point game.
Now with a run by Dylan Edwards. Getting a good gain there for Kansas State.
Yeah, and we had talked about it during the pregame, how big of a game this is. This is a turning point for both teams' seasons. And on this drive, this could be the turning point for that Baylor defense. They've been struggling in the second half, forced a punt last time out. Now they're the ones that have to get the job done. They're under the lights, and they need to get this job done for Baylor to stay in this game.
Now 2nd and 6 on their own 21. Quick pass to Garrett Oakley, but that will be dropped. And a 3rd and 6 coming up for this Baylor defense. And Jeffrey, this is where they've struggled throughout this year. They're good at getting third downs, but not good at making these stops.
Yeah, and Garrett Oakley's down. He got dropped by Jacob Redding after bobbling that pass. So if Garrett Oakley comes out of this game on a 3rd and 6, well, that's probably Avery Johnson's main target on this next play, who won't be able to be on the field. So this will be big for not Joe Klanderman, but for Matt Wells and his offense to decide, all right, if we can't go to Garrett Oakley, who are we going to go to and get these 6 yards and keep this drive rolling?
Looks like Garrett Oakley is able to get up and walk. It's a good sign for Kansas State. Never want to see a player unable to get up on their own.
Yeah, especially a guy who's so integral for this offense. As we had mentioned, Avery Johnson loves his tight ends. Oakley, 7 catches, the most on the team, 54 yards and a touchdown. That was the first drop pass for Kansas State receivers on the day.
Now Baylor fans getting loud on this 3rd and 6 for Kansas State. At their own 21. 3 wide receivers to Johnson's right, 1 to his left. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Avery Johnson making a change of play call at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap. Being blitzed by Baylor, rolling out to his left, and he will rush for the first down. Had open field to his left and just walking into the sideline for the first down.
And that's that presence. Amarian Winston does not enough speed to get to Avery Johnson. And also look at Jacob Redding, who is following the receiver on the left side, who brought Jacob Redding to the inside of the field, unable to twist his body and try to make the tackle on Avery Johnson.
Another two running backs set for Kansas State. 1st and 10 at their own 30. They hand it off to Dylan Edwards, and Dylan Edwards will be met in the backfield by DJ Coleman.
DJ Coleman coming into today, 4 tackles for loss. That leads Baylor this season, and he just tallies another one right there with a loss for 1.
Now 2nd and 11 at their own 29 for Kansas State. Garrett Oakley back in the game now for Kansas State. Jace Brown being motioned to the left side of the alignment. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Takes the handoff to Joe Jackson. Avery Johnson going for the deep ball to Jamarian Tibbs, and it will be broken up.
That's Reggie Bush, the second right there, getting a hand on that ball. Little underthrown by Avery Johnson, trying to find Jerron Tibbs. But again, now that brings up another big 3rd down with 11 yards to go.
3rd down and 11 at Kansas State 29. Baylor must get this stop here, as there's only 6 minutes and 42 seconds to go in this game. 3 wide receivers to Johnson's left, 1 to his right. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Baylor adjusting. Johnson takes the snap, rolling to his right again. Trying to find a man downfield, under pressure, now rolling back to his right. And it'll be caught by Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson going up the field.
Wow, a lot of credit to Avery Johnson, just being able to use his speed and just work his way around that Baylor pass rush. Rolled out to his left, saw no one there. Well, how about I go the other way? And he had plenty of room to go and found a wide open Joe Jackson on the flat.
Now a 1st and 10 for Kansas State at their own 46. Avery Johnson back to pass again, evading pressure. Going downfield, trying to look for Jace Brown. That'll be overthrown and incomplete.
Jace Brown had his Caldry Williford beat. Tough throw for Avery Johnson on the run, but if he had caught Brown in stride, that's a touchdown right there.
Yeah, 2 plays on this drive that if they were caught, one by Jerron Tibbs and one by Jace Brown, would have been touchdowns. Now a 2nd and 10 at their own 46. 2 wide receivers to Johnson's left, 2 to his right. Jackson now being motioned out to the right as a receiver. Johnson alone in the backfield. Johnson takes the snap and will run it himself to the left. And will slide. Only getting a couple yards there, setting up a third down on this drive.
Yeah, only got 1 yard on that play, so it'll be 3rd and 9. 2nd straight 3rd and long. Last time found Joe Johnson on that 3rd and 11. If you're Baylor, if you get any pressure on him, your one job is to stay in front of him. Do not let him find that open grass and either find a guy on the opposite side of the field or tuck the ball and run.
Now 3rd and 9 at their own 47. 3 wide receivers to Johnson's right, 1 to his left. Jackson in the backfield. Avery Johnson looking for the quick pass down the middle, and it will be caught by Jerron Tibbs, and that will be another 1st down on this drive for Kansas State. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Baylor, they get to these 3rd downs and just cannot execute and end up giving more time. And now this drive has taken almost 3 minutes at this point when Baylor needs all the time they can get.
K-State's used 9 plays to go 41 yards, 3.5 minutes already taken off. This defense is getting tired.
Now 1st and 10 at Baylor's 42. They'll fake the handoff. They'll pass it over the middle, and it'll be picked off Picked off by Jacob Redding. Jacob Redding going down the field, and he will score. It will be a pick six for Baylor, and Baylor will look to take the lead.
Jacob Redding's second interception of the season. A ball that was way behind Jerron Tibbs, and who was right there? Jacob Redding. Had a couple blockers, worked his way down the sideline, cut to the inside, getting by Avery Johnson, and we are tied at 31.
Now with just the extra point set from Connor Hawkins to get Baylor back their lead. What a turn of events here at McLean Stadium.
Just what a fourth quarter it's been. I mean, we've had a season's worth of big plays in just a matter of 10 minutes. A big touchdown drive by Baylor to get within a one score, and then almost had a fumble on the kickoff return, and then a big pick six.
Now the field goal is up and good. Baylor retaking the lead, 32-31, after a Jacob Redding pick six. Now 4 minutes and 28 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. And after that touchdown and pick six, Baylor regains the lead, and now Kansas State will look to try to regain their lead. And we'll be back with Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio after this quick break.
Hey there, Bears. Are you living your best life this year at Baylor? Well, we've got great news. The Baylor Roundup Yearbook has been right there with you, capturing those memories at every event. So don't forget to buy your 2022-23 Baylor Roundup Yearbook today and share your memories with friends and family for generations to come. But wait, did you already graduate? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have yearbooks dating all the way back to 1896. So visit our website today at www.baylor.edu/roundup and order your copy. That's www.baylor.edu/ROUNDUP. Have a great year, Bears, and sick 'em.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Welcome back to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio. Baylor taking the lead after a Jacob Redding pick six, 32-31. 4 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the fourth. Now Red Armstrong and Baylor set to kick it back off to Kansas State. Kansas State looking to respond after losing the lead.
Yeah, 66-yard pick six by Jacob Redding gives Baylor their first lead since it was 17-10. Back towards the end of the second quarter.
Now Kansas State will take it out of the end zone. Looking for some room. And taken down near the 25-yard line.
It looks like they took out Dominic Mitchell and put in Ralph Ortiz to come in and return these kickoffs. But now your outlook on this game is completely different. Now it's like you've got the lead, you have to preserve it. You got 4.5 minutes that you got to hold on and not let Avery Johnson and that offense work their way down the field.
And that two-point conversion looking like one of the smartest play calls of Dave Aranda's tenure right now, as it has given them this lead and put even more pressure on a Kansas State team that has really not played well this fourth quarter. Now the first play of this drive, they fake the handoff, go down the field for Jace Brown, and Jace Brown will stiff arm a man, and looks like he's going for the end zone, and it'll be a touchdown. Multiple flags thrown on the field. The first play, and it'll be a touchdown for Jace Brown.
Yeah, it looks like it'll probably be a face mask against Caldre Williford. There's some talking because Williford ripped his helmet off, but it looks like he might be saying that Brown might have pushed off. I guess we'll have to see what the call is.
Another crazy turn of events if this play is upheld. And it's looking like the refs have come to a decision. So Jace Brown will be ruled down, and then a face mask penalty will be applied. So it will not be a touchdown for Kansas State. But now they will have the ball on Baylor's 24. And that was a play that we saw last drive that Avery Johnson had some miscommunication with Deron Tibbs and Jace Brown, but that one, no miscommunication there, and seeing how dangerous of a receiver he can be.
Yeah, Caldre Williford getting probably some of the most action he's seen all season. Only came into today with 8 tackles, 2 pass breakups in 4 games played. Again, just unable to stay with Jace Brown, making a big catch.
A 1st and 10 at Baylor's 14. They'll hand it off to Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson will go up the middle only for a couple yards.
I think now the idea with K-State and their offense is, all right, let's milk this play clock, all right? You got 30 seconds on the play clock. They're going to snap the ball with about 1 or 2 seconds left, use up as much time as physically possible, and try to score as late in this fourth quarter as they can.
Because that's what we saw versus Arizona State is Baylor. They responded, tied the game up, but there was too much time left on the clock for Arizona State to march down the field. Ended up winning that game-winning field goal. Now Kansas State runs it again with Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson will get the first down.
Give it to Joe Jackson.
Now clock winding below 3 minutes with a 1st and 3 for Kansas State at Baylor's 3.
Yeah, I think if you're Baylor, you either want to take timeouts or you just let them score at this point, because now they're down to your own 3-yard line. And K-State's been very, very good in the red zone. Have 16 touchdowns, 5 field goals, and 23 trips to the red zone before today.
Now they'll hand it off to Jackson again, and he will be met immediately. Tackled down by Devin Bobby.
Yeah, now the clock rolling down. They'll probably wait it out until a 2-minute warning, but I think for Baylor, after this 2-minute warning, you got to start using your timeouts. Because you need as much time, because K-State, they'll probably score. There's a very good chance that they'll score on this drive inside your 5-yard line, whether they punch it in for 6 or get a field goal. But after this 2-minute timeout, if you're able to keep them out of the end zone, you'll probably still have a couple minutes, for at least about a minute and a half remaining in this game. That's plenty of time for what this offense has done to go down the field and maybe get a chance to win this ball game.
And that's something, too, that Baylor will be hoping for, to only allow a field goal. And with that, we'll take a quick break during this 2-minute warning. You've been listening to Baylor Football on Baylor Lariat Radio.
Hey Bears! Are you always the last to know about what's happening at Baylor? Are you left quiet in a group when talking about last week's game? Well, You haven't gotten your morning buzz yet. Did you know you can get your dose of current Baylor news every Tuesday through Friday straight to your inbox? The Baylor Lariat Morning Buzz e-newsletter provides you with breaking Baylor stories, local events, and in-depth sports coverage daily. You can be in the know on all things Baylor. If you aren't already buzzing, go to BaylorLariat.com. That's BaylorLariat.com and click the subscribe now to get your morning buzz from the Baylor Lariat. News for the students, by the students. We'll see you in your inbox.
Stay informed and stay connected with Lariat TV News. Tune in to LTVN every Friday, your go-to source for everything happening on campus and around Waco. From breaking stories to exclusive interviews, we cover campus events, student life, sports updates, and more. By the students, for the students. Catch our latest broadcast every Friday afternoon on YouTube by searching Baylor Lariat TV News.
Welcome back to Baylor Football and Baylor Lariat Radio. 2nd and 4 now for Kansas State at Baylor's 4 with 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Kansas State with 3 timeouts, Baylor with 2. Now we get into time management, Jeffrey.
Yeah, we were talking about it during the break. It's what do you do? Because now Baylor has 2 timeouts, right? Do you run it up the middle? What do you do?
Fake the handoff. And Avery Johnson will be hit from behind by DJ Coleman, and it will cause an incomplete pass. Now a 3rd and 4 at the 4. And if you're Baylor, you're really hoping for just a field goal here, because that 2-point conversion, if they go down, an extra point gives them the win.
Yeah, and that's really what you didn't want to do if you're K-State. You stop the clock, you don't move forward at all, and you let Baylor retain one of their 2 timeouts. Now 3rd and goal to go on the Baylor 4-yard line.
Now Blake Barnett back in the backfield. Avery Johnson rolling to his right, under pressure, looking for the end zone. It'll be incomplete. Nobody was there. 4th and 4 now for Kansas State, and they're sending the kicking unit on the field.
Great job by Devontae Hesno, just being able to stay in front of Avery Johnson. Don't let him find a way around you. Just go face to face and just trail him. Stay with him. Don't try to anticipate one way or the other. Force him to keep on going back and make a throw on his back foot, and eventually force that incompletion.
Now Luis Rodriguez trying to get the lead for Kansas State, and it'll be up and good. Kansas State will now lead 34-32 with 1 minute and 48 seconds to go in this game. You've been listening to us talk about how in this game, the defense has had a hard time on 3rd downs, but on that play, they showed up. And they were like, there's no way that y'all are getting a touchdown here, and made sure that now Baylor has a chance with 2 timeouts, and a field goal could win it.
Yeah, they did a good job of just playing like reactionary football on that play. You got K-State running a flood concept play. Everyone's going to the right. All the receivers, all the O-linemen, Avery Johnson. So that really shrinks the field a lot. And at that point, you just really got to stay in front of guys. I mentioned just a few seconds ago, Devontae Hesno, props to him. He's able to stay face-to-face with Avery Johnson, not give him a lane to run, or just give him more time to throw, forcing that incompletion and eventually forcing him to go to Luis Rodriguez and kick a field goal.
Now Simon McLennan set to kick it off for Kansas State. Jaden Porter and Cole Wilson in the end zone to receive. Now Cole Wilson will receive the kick. Going up the left side of the field, he has some room, and he'll be knocked out of bounds. Big hit from Kansas State.
That's number 35, Gabe Powers, transfer from Ohio State with the big hit.
A great return there by Cole Wilson. Setting up Baylor with good field position on this final, what could be final drive for them in this game. Now with a 1st and 10 at their own 36. 1 minute, 41 seconds to go in this game. Bryson Washington in the backfield for Baylor. 2 wide receivers to Sawyer's right, 1 to his left. Trigg now being motioned over to the left. Quick pass to Trigg. Trigg will catch it and immediately go out of bounds.
There you go.
Pass complete to Michael Trigg.
Good job levying the pressure. Had a guy right in his face. Just make the easy throw, dump it off to Michael Trigg, and have him go out of bounds, stopping the clock, saving a timeout.
Now a 2nd and 3 at their own 43 for Baylor. They'll hand it off to Washington. Washington breaking a couple tackles and will get the 1st down.
There you go. And since it's inside the last 2 minutes of a half, clock does stop just for a few seconds to have the chain set.
Now 1st and 10 at their own 48. Sawyer looking to pass again. Looking deep to his right, and it'll be incomplete.
And there's a flag.
And now a flag for pass interference.
There was a lot of contact going downfield. That's Cole Wilson. It looks like he was going up against Justice Clemens.
It looked like there the ref a bit indecisive on calling it. But in the end, Baylor will get the pass interference, and for a Kansas State team that does not commit many penalties, that one really hurts you right now.
Yeah, and that's a big 15 yards, getting Baylor closer and closer to field goal range. As we mentioned, K-State, they're a very disciplined team. They don't get a lot of penalties. They're 11th best in the nation, averaging only 30.8 penalty yards per game, and it just cost them a precious 15 yards right there.
Now 1st and 10 at Kansas State's 37. 1 minute, 18 seconds to go. Sawyer looking to pass again. Under pressure, running up the middle. He will get a big gain, setting them up in field goal position. But there is a flag in the backfield.
That's a holding on Ryan Langell.
And now Jeffrey, a big part right now is with a field goal, Baylor wins it.
Mm-hmm.
But do they go for the touchdown, or do they try to get, some 5-10 yard plays and set up decent field position for the field goal kicker, and so that they don't give the ball back to Kansas State?
I think you just, you got to protect the football. You just got to get small, medium chunk plays. Don't go too far downfield.
Now Sawyer looking downfield, and it'll be dropped by Ashton Hawkins, excuse me.
Oh, that was it right there. That was game.
And now a flag.
Oh, that was a late flag.
Looking like it might be unsportsmanlike conduct in the secondary.
Yeah, but that throw was beautifully thrown right into the hands of Ashton Hawkins, going right in between his arms. The officials are going to have a little chat about whether this penalty stands. If it is, say, unsportsmanlike conduct, again, that's another big 15 yards that I know K-State would hate to give up.
And immediately reverses the penalty from Baylor, and then gets Baylor back into field goal position. And then at that point, Baylor could potentially just keep running the ball with Bryson Washington and end this game with a field goal on the same side of the field that Arizona State won not too long ago.
And there's no foul.
So now a 2nd and 20 for Baylor at midfield, not in field goal position yet.
And if you remember, just 2 weeks ago, Connor Hawkins hit a season-long 53-yarder, his only field goal against Arizona State. Other than that kick, hasn't had to go above 37 yards.
56 seconds to go on the 2nd and 20. Baylor at their own 47. Sawyer fakes the pass. Passes it to Hawkins. Hawkins breaking some tackles. Going up the field, and now Baylor's back in field goal range. The clock is winding down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too comfortable right here. Again, you don't know how consistent Connor Hawkins is from the extended ranges. We've said most of his field goals have been inside of 40 yards. And he's only made that 153-yarder against Arizona State. So again, I think you want to get at least another 10, 20 yards.
And now a 3rd and 9 for Baylor. Kansas State calls a timeout. And this will be a very big play for Baylor. How conservative are you? How aggressive are you? Because if they get the first down, they can run out the clock, use all the timeouts for Kansas State. But if not, and it ends up being incomplete, or they go out of bounds, then Kansas State, see what Connor Hawkins does, kicking a field goal, and then Kansas State can go right back down the field with about probably 25 seconds to go with 2 timeouts.
Yeah, and from the spot that they're at now, they're on K-State's 36-yard line. That's going to set up for about a 53-yard field goal for Connor Hawkins. Again, it's like, I think a bigger question is if you get a couple yards on this 3rd and 9, and it's say you get a 4th and short, do you go for it, or do you go to Connor Hawkins with the longer field goal?
Now 3rd and 9 at Kansas State's 36. 2 wide receivers to Sawyer's right, 2 to his left. Washington in the backfield. Sawyer takes a snap, throws a quick pass, and it'll be dropped by Michael Trigg. And now a 3rd and 9. Trigg just looking like he wasn't even ready for that pass to be thrown. Now 4th down and 9.
Here comes Connor Hawkins.
And this is the game right here, folks. If Connor Hawkins misses this, it's a Kansas State win. If he makes it, then we've got a little bit more of an interesting game with Kansas State's 2 timeouts.
Connor Hawkins in field goal formation on 4th down. It's 4 yards away.
It's going to be a 54-yarder. This would be a career long.
With the kick of his life, Connor Hawkins. And we timeout by Baylor. Very interesting timeout. Is usually when a timeout's called there, it's to freeze the team's kicker.
Yeah.
But very interesting timeout there. And so now if Kansas State would want to freeze Connor Hawkins, they can call a timeout right after that as well. It's a very interesting decision by Dave Aranda. Don't know what he was seeing there, as he was very animated on the sidelines.
Yeah, and one rule about this timeout is do not talk. Do not even look at Connor Hawkins. Do not break his train of thought. Because with a field goal like this, with the game on the line, you want to take the situation out of it as much as physically possible. You want this to be purely motion memory, or muscle memory, excuse me. And have him not feel any of this pressure.
36 seconds to go. Baylor down 32-34. Connor Hawkins. A 54-yard try that would give Baylor the lead. And it is up, and it is good! Connor Hawkins with the longest field goal kick of his career. Baylor now up 35-34.
With 31 seconds remaining, it's not over just yet. K-State has all 3 timeouts, and we've seen them go to the long ball throughout this last quarter of football. But again, if you're Baylor's defense, job's not finished. But once again, just great job by Connor Hawkins, tuning out all the pressure, tuning out the situation. It's muscle memory, and he drills a 54-yarder, the longest of his career, beating out his 53-yarder just 2 weeks ago here at McLean Stadium.
And now the kickoff team coming onto the field for Baylor, and something to watch out for. Luis Rodriguez can hit it from beyond 50 himself, his longest of his career being 51. And so this Baylor defense, all up to them. Kansas State with 2 timeouts, so they have some wiggle room in the plays they can call. but only 31 seconds to go after that 54-yard Connor Hawkins field goal. 35-34, Baylor leading Kansas State.
Luis Rodriguez hit his 51-yarder 2 weeks ago against Arizona in Tucson.
Now Red Armstrong kicks it off. Ralph Ortiz will not take it out, and that'll be a touchback. Now Kansas State going to start off with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. And this is a very interesting situation if you're a play caller. They've had success today passing, but Avery Johnson not known as a really prolific passer. And that's what they'll need to get up the field. Running plays will not be sufficient in this drive. And so they'll have to rely on the arm of Avery Johnson and receivers like Jace Brown and Jerron Tibbs.
Yeah, I think if you're Dave Aranda, the idea is don't let them go over the top, right? Keep everything in front of you because they only have 31 seconds. Let them work that clock down.
Avery Johnson looking to pass. Looking to his right, and it will be bobbled and dropped by Jace Brown. Now a 2nd and 10 at the 25. Only 20 seconds to go in this ball game.
Good job by Kendrick Simpkins sticking with Jace Brown, putting some pressure on what's relatively an easy ball for him to catch.
Now Avery Johnson, 2 wide receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Takes the handoff. Johnson stepping around, finds Jace Brown up the middle, and that will be a 1st down, placing Kansas State at around the 40. Now 19 seconds to go. And Kansas State takes the timeout, now leaving them with only 1 for the remainder of this quarter. Now having a 1st and 10 at the 40, and they're getting close, Jeffrey.
Yeah, and I think for the Baylor defense, one, as I said, you want to keep them in front of you, but you also can't let them get that big of a chunk play. You got to keep them. That catch better come within the 10-yard line. That's your goal, is to keep that catch within the 10-yard line. If they want to get that 1st down, you got to force them to get those yards after the catch and not give them a big chunk play down the middle of the field like that. A speedy guy like Jace Brown. So again, I want to see those linebackers. I want to see Kylan Reed and Keaton Thomas and Kendrick Simpkins just kind of do their thing and guard that middle of the field. I think that's going to be the most important part of the field for the next 21 seconds.
And 2 seconds put back onto the clock. 21 seconds to go. 1st and 10 at their own 40 for Kansas State. Avery Johnson in an empty backfield. Surveying the middle of the field, and it will be incomplete, but looks like there will be pass interference on Baylor's defense.
Trying to go up the middle of the field, and there was plenty of contact right there by Kendrick Simpkins. I was going against Keaton Thomas.
That'll be a 1st down for Kansas State now, but the clock now at 17 seconds. Still not in field goal range for Luis Rodriguez. That'll be a 1st and 10 at their own 49. Joe Jackson in the backfield to the left of Avery Johnson. 2 wide receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Avery Johnson with pressure coming towards him, and it will be incomplete. Looks like there might have been a chance for a pick there by Baylor, but it will be incomplete as the intended receiver was Jerron Tibbs.
DJ Coleman, the nickelback, had it right there. One of the big playmakers on this defense, forced a couple turnovers this season. Had a chance to put this game to bed right there.
Looks like the game clock is being reset by 1 second. 14 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. 2nd and 10 for Kansas State at their own 49. Joe Jackson in the backfield. 2 wide receivers to Johnson's left, 2 to his right. Johnson surveying the field, rolling to his right. And they will be caught for another first down, it looks like, for Kansas State.
K-State's got 1 timeout and 6 seconds remaining.
Now what do you do? Quick pass here, try to get some yards?
I think they're going to spike it right here.
Now it's an interesting decision. 5 seconds is enough time to get 1 quick play off and then take a timeout. But then again, you don't want to risk having a situation that the Packers almost ran into in the Cowboys game not too many days ago, where there just wasn't enough time left.
Yeah, they're bringing on the field goal team. They have a timeout left, and they elected to spike the ball.
And remember, Baylor has a timeout of their own, so if they choose to, they can freeze Luis Rodriguez.
Looks like it's going to be a 46-yarder. Excuse me, 56-yarder.
But that will be the longest of his career. Luis Rodriguez trying to match Connor Hawkins and getting their career-long field goal today. And another timeout will be taken.
You can see on the Jumbotron, Baylor students one after another praying, Lord, please let Luis Rodriguez miss this kick. This is a big moment for a Baylor team that struggled so much over the last couple seasons against Power 4 teams, 4-12 in their last 16 games against Power 4 opponents. A win right here, going into the bye week 4-2 would be a completely different outlook than coming in to the bye week 3-3.
And so now, every fan in the stadium on their feet, waiting for what is going to be the outcome of this game. Luis Rodriguez, the 56-yard try would be the longest of his career. As we await the kick. And another timeout will be taken. And this will be Baylor's timeout this time. Now no timeouts for either team. And for Luis Rodriguez, you've got to be thinking in your head, man, I really just want to get up there and kick this now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 timeouts. Obviously, this has got to be eating him up inside. I think for anybody, it's got to be eating him up. But as I said, for Connor Hawkins' kick, you got to tune everything out. That's not just take 2 steps and swing your leg. That's the only thing that has to be going through his head if he wants to make this kick. If he thinks at all about the situation, this ball is going to go wide.
Now coming back onto the field, Luis Rodriguez. No more timeouts able to stop this kick now. This will decide who wins this game. Luis Rodriguez with the 56-yard try. And it is up and it is blocked. It is blocked by Baylor. That will end the game, folks. Baylor will win 35-34 on a blocked kick.
Are you kidding me? In a game that's been absolutely cinema. What a way to finish a blocked field goal, and Baylor coming away with a 35-34 victory.
Down 2 scores in the second half. Baylor roared back and now won this game 35-34. Oh wait, 2 seconds
to the clock.
Now added back onto the clock. And Baylor will go out onto the field in victory formation.
Unreal. Blocked by Caden Jenkins, the junior out of Louisville, Texas. Preseason 4th team, all Big 12. Didn't play last week against Oklahoma State. Had 2 solo tackles, a tackle for loss, and a pass breakup against Arizona State. Excuse me, he did play against OSU. 2 solo tackles and a pass breakup.
And that will do it, folks. Sawyer Robertson takes the kneel, and Baylor improves to 4-2, and their season is back on track.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the scenario that they want to be in, right? We have talked about it a couple of times today. You want to go into this pivotal bye week 4-2, right? We saw how well Baylor made the adjustments last season after starting 2-4. You get a bye week, well, what do they do after? They go on one of the best runs in college football. 6 wins in a row to finish the season 8-4. Now if you make those same adjustments like they did last year, and if it goes exactly like it did last year, you're finishing 10-2 and a pretty good chance to make the Big 12 championship game.
Oh, a great chance now, and such a great performance by Baylor, showing their resiliency, how to struggle in the first half. And this has been the challenge this season. Arizona State lost by a field goal. Auburn got down by 2 scores, but now Baylor proven that they can stay in these games.
Yeah, and well, with that, that'll do it from us here on the broadcast, okay? So make sure to stay tuned because we're not done from McLean Stadium just yet right here on YouTube. In a couple minutes, we'll have our post-game show be myself and Mr. Aidan O'Connor. You can also catch us on X Spaces, get the audio broadcast. If you want to see our smiling faces, well, then you can tune in to our live stream at Baylor Lariat on Instagram. And we'll go through our thoughts on this whirlwind of a game. That'll do it from us here. Baylor with a big statement win over K-State, winning 35-34 on a blocked kick by Caden Jenkins. As they improve to 4-2 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. K-State drops to 2-4, 1-2 against Big 12 opponents. That'll do it from us here at McLean Stadium. For all of us at the Baylor Lariat Radio, I'm Jeffrey Cohen, here alongside me, Aidan O'Connor. You've been listening to Baylor Football on the Baylor Lariat Radio. Let's freaking go!